Go.
What is up, everybody? This is Will from 10-4 Broadcasting. This is a feel-good Friday for us here at 10-4 Broadcasting, bringing you live action out of the High Octane Sim series, and I'm joined with my co-host, Mike. How you doing tonight, Mike?
Good. How are you doing?
Man, we are rocking and rolling. We missed qualifying there. We're working out some new things here, laying some new logos at the top of the page, if you could see that for us, ladies and gentlemen. But, Mike, if you want to run the viewers to our starting lineup here.
Certainly. We got Kevin Burlock sitting on the pole, followed by Matthew Batsby in P2, Parker Collins P3, Will Riley Hoots in P4, Nicholas Compton P5, Darren Struff P6, Alan Bletzy P7, David Medina P8, Brian Clark P9, Keith Allen, we'll be talking about him later in the show, P10, Nick Alford P11, Zachary Compton sitting in P12, P13, James Brosker, followed by Kelly Thomas in P14, Nick Shadell in P15, Robert King P16, and rounding out the field is Ryan Lewis in P17.
Alrighty, Mike, and I wanted to ask you as an iRacer, because this is actually my first time at the Blue Blood State here as we're taking a look at the weather settings. We're rocking with 81 degrees, a little bit of precipitation in the air, clear, and it's actually windier here than it was at Chicagoland a few weeks ago. But Mike, I have never been to this track, never seen this track. This is actually my first time at Kentucky, and for people like me who have never seen this track, what are they in store for here tonight?
This is definitely a mile-and-a-half track. Um, my last experience here was a good one. Ended up in a top win finish. Definitely something to look forward to here. But this track is a fan favorite for sure.
For sure, indeed, Mike. And now, how are you taking on the corners here at Kentucky? As we see this pace car about to come off, we'll get that thought here momentarily, Mike. But we're about to go green, green, green here at Kentucky in the High Octane Sim Series. Let's go racing, boys.
Green, green, green.
We are green flag in race number 7 of the High Octane Sim Series. So for side-by-side action to start this race.
Watching some action here, Mike. And Mike, as I was asking right before that green flag drop, as we see the leaders take him down into 2 there. How do you take on this track? What are the corners like, and how fast are you going on the front stretch or back stretch?
You're going about 170 down the backstretch, but you want to hit the corners at least 165. Later in the run, as tires start to wear off, you're looking at about 160, maybe 165.
So this is, it almost reminded me, looking at this track, almost of Charlotte Motor Speedway, where it's the true oval raceway, but it looks like this one has a little bit more wider turns.
Yes, as we're going to go on board with our leader, Riley Hoots.
Riley has been wanting that victory all season long, but for his good finishes here in the past couple weeks, has climbed his way into that chase spot. So it is the top 10 leaders in the points make it on the chase. And this in-car camera review is brought to you by 10-4 Broadcasting. We're taking a look at Riley Hoots here. Couldn't ride along with him. He is all by himself in that lead position. He's P2 in the standings last season, 1 series win at Michigan in season 1. So he's definitely racing a very good season so far in the High Octane Sim Series. And he's got himself, I believe, about 7th or 8th in the points. So he's right where he needs to be once this chase closes out. And Matthew Badby, our points leader, actually took the win home last week, as we're taking a view here of Riley Hoots. There is our points leader right now, Matthew Badby, in that second position. We got his info here. He's a high octane sim series rookie, so he's a rookie on the season. And boy, Mike, he is making himself known as a rook, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. As we see going here into one, you look like you're going about 180, backing it down to what, 170. Just a little bit 168, and then back on the throttle. Down a backstretch, here we go, as Matthew Baby is trying to catch up with Riley Hoots. But we're going down to 157 in turn 3 and 4. Back on the throttle. Coming out of 4 and back to the start finish line. Now, as we notice, you're going to learn, we're going to see as Matthew catching up real fast, is that later in the run, the tires are going to fade. We are probably going to see a lot of people running that Kyle Larson line. And that line's going to be up against the wall. Again, that's going to be later in the run. You might see more in 3 and 4 than we do 1 and 2. 1 and 2, they might be running towards that yellow line. And 3 and 4, they're probably running up against the wall. This is the later run. We're still fresh on the start of the green flag. I believe we're instructed, 5 sets of tires. And our heats are, believe, for our stages, I apologize.
I believe the stages are going to be 50, 100, and 180, Mike. I believe the boys are going to have about 40 laps of a fuel window in these machines. So you're going to see green flag pit stops definitely in stage 1 here. As Mike mentioned, you're going to get 5 sets of tires in tonight's event. That as well, especially for those running that high side lane. As you mentioned, that Kyle Larson line, if you will. And if you want to run a Kyle Larson lane, that'll definitely put you in victory lane, Mike.
I don't know. We've got to get through pit stops first. As we're riding on board here. As you can see, 3 and 4 are starting to work that way on the outside. As we have the old Dale Earnhardt scheme right there in front of them. And we're on board. Zachary Compton as we're throwing to the field. It's a tad bit. But as you can hear them getting off the throttle just a tad bit, but then they're quick back on. And running the Kyle Larson line, you're a little bit off the throttle, a little bit longer than normal, but you're definitely saving your tires for the long haul.
There. Mike, Zach ran a very good race last week, and actually the last couple of weeks he's been really consistent, but he's just been caught up at the last second, all these mishaps. And do you think he might be able to get that, I like to call it the St. Patrick's Day machine inside victory lane here tonight?
Oh, he was my pick last week. I think, seeing how qualifying went, I think, I don't want to jinx it, but let's just say, I think you can get the job done tonight.
Keep an eye out on that machine on the track, Mike. And if you want to let our viewers know that a victory here tonight will put you into the playoffs. So if you just get that one win on the season, you can cruise into that chase if you will, knowing that you are secure and locked in, because we're about 6 races into this high-octane sim series here. Anybody other than Matthew Badby, who has basically solidified his spot at the top of the table with 2 wins on the season. Keeping an eye on Riley Hoots, who is now our race leader on the track, Mike. And that 24 machine has ran really consistent throughout the last couple weeks.
Definitely, he's always been there at the end, especially when we first came on the air. We've seen that Riley Hoots ended up having to come down for that fuel mileage game. I believe this might turn into a fuel mileage. We'll see how the race plays out.
We shall, Mike, and I'm keeping an eye out on what's happening on these corners and on the backstretch there, Mike. I see the drivers like to go a little 3 wide just for a minute, and then they kind of shuffle back down. Is this race almost going to play out like a phoenix, where you see the cars get way wide on the corners, but then kind of like tunnel back down on the front stretch or back stretch?
Oh yeah, they're going to be more like diamonding in the corners, is basically the term you're looking for. But the one thing is going to be the tires. I think tire wear for this track is definitely going to be a key. You don't want to burn those tires out too much or burn them up too much. Other than that, I think the strategy is, I'm hoping, going to be another fuel mileage race. We've seen, the first race be fuel. The second one came close to a fuel mileage race, but we had that late race caution that ended those chances for the fuel mileage. But we ended up seeing an amazing finish last week. Riley Hoots, your race leader, followed by Matthew Batsby.
Talking about Matthew, looks like he has climbed his way back up in that second position right behind Riley. And Riley has to know that speed is behind him. I know he's loving life all by himself up there in that lead position, but he has got some speed behind him in the lead. Take a look at that 22 machine right there of Alford. He is on that. That's Nick Alford there. He is the admin here at High Octane Sim Series. And Mike, it seems as though he's lost pace with that front pack.
I think these mile and a half, you do want to make sure you have the draft. We don't have, this package is not the same you would see on a normal Sunday. Speaking of packages, from what I've understood, is next season this series is going to be going upgrading, so to say. They're going to be moving to the new next-gen cars. So that's something to really be keep an eye on these drivers. Definitely the next-gen cars do act and drive different than these Gen 6 cars. As we're side by side here for fourth place.
Yeah, Mike, this is heating up here in this lead pack. This is a battle of 5 machines up here. They all want to take the lead. Looks like we have some teammates mixed up in that bunch here, but that's Funky Cole Medina in that 9 machine. He ran an excellent race last week. Boy, he is picking up where he left off. He's fighting his way back up into that top spot there, but those colorful cars that we called out last weekend, Mike, looks like they just picked up where they left off last weekend.
As we see, the 45 of Darren Stroff making a run on the inside. Now, as we've seen at the start of this race, everybody was running towards that yellow line. And now we're, 10 laps in? 20 laps in, actually, I apologize. And people are starting to move up the track, and the groove is starting to change. They're not, so far, not sunk down on that yellow line on entry. This is something that you're going to be seeing throughout the run. The later the run gets, we're told about 40 laps green flag before we're looking at pit stops. You're going to want to make sure you're saving those tires. Speaking of tires, I believe we have a second gap here behind Nick with our driver of this evening, Keith Fallon. I believe Will's got some news on him.
Yeah, big news here in the High Octane Sim Series. There was a message in the chat this afternoon that this is going to be Keith's last race here at the High Octane Sim Series. It was news and a shock to everybody in the chat, but it looks like he's going to get a promotion at work, so he's going to make that money. But we do bid him adieu here in the High Octane Sim Series, and boy, what a way to close out the race if he can put that 09 machine in victory lane. Looks like he's got some competition in the back there. He's running around in the 10th position. So top 10 right now, about 22 laps in here at the High Octane Sim Series. And Keith's really trying to put that machine into victory lane here. And we want nothing less but to see that 09 in victory lane in his last race here at High Octane Sim Series.
I don't know if it's going to be the last race. I think, we have that mysterious day off. I think he'll be back here. But full-time competition, I think it's definitely going to be a different change. Speaking of the 09, I think we'll be getting some barbecue up here towards this middle of the second stage. Up here in the booth, we'll be testing that amazing Captain Jack's barbecue.
And you can't talk about barbecue without talking about Captain Jack's Smokehouse there at Amelia Island, serving up the best barbecue and steak. Man, you can't find places that have barbecue and awesome steaks, Mike. And you can find it there at Captain Jack's. Go check them out on Facebook. Give them a Google. Give them a shout out and see what you can get DoorDash to your residence if you live in that area. But boy, every time we talk about that sponsor, it makes me hungry.
Now this is the second pack in the race, led by Nicholas Compton in that 80. Got Nicholas Compton in 80, Keith Fallon of 09, Alan Bledsoe, which we talked about last week, and the 81 of Zachary Compton.
Straight out of Compton, as I'd like to say there. Shout out to NWA. But keeping an eye out if we can flip back up to the leaders there, Mike. It looks like Medina has climbed his way up there. He's going to the outside on the corner here. He's fighting for that lead there. He was trying on that inside panel there. Trying to climb his way up there in that funky cold Medina number 9. That ice cold paint scheme dripping off the back of that back bumper there. But a big move from Staff in that 45 going to the inside. These boys are hungry here tonight. They want some of that Captain Jack's barbecue. But Riley is going to lead them down the front stretch here. Still going to lead the way here at lap 27 of the High Octane Sim Series here at Kentucky. This is my first time at Kentucky, but it is Riley Hoot still leading the way, but he has got some speed right behind him with Matthew Badby and Funky Cold Medina in that 9. And it looks like Badby's going to try for that second position. Nope, he's going to file right back in behind Medina. It's still going to be Riley Hoots leading him down here. And Mike, we're going to have less than 13 laps before these boys are going to have to make some green flag pit stops.
Another key moment is we're going to have people coming down early, the short pit. Looks like we got a rookie in Matthew Badby.
Boy, for his rookie debut season here at the High Octane Sim Series, Matt has laid down the rubber here in the High Octane Sim Series. He is top of the table. He has locked himself in the driver points there. He has I believe two wins on the season, Mike, if I'm not mistaken. But he is showing himself to be a well-known driver here in the High Octane Sim Series. A 3-time winner on the season there. I misspoke, but he's got 2 poles on the season. Boy, for a rookie in the series, I think this is one of the best rookie performances other than Derrick Rose in the NBA for a long time I've seen.
As we're rotating through the field, Tiny Dog Racing in that 54. His teammate in that 45 trying to give him a push. As we've seen the top 3 try to start breaking away.
Here in lap 30 at Kentucky in the High Octane Sim Series. We're live on 10-4 broadcast. It looks like there's a little
bump.
touch there.
Now, one thing you're going to see here shortly, I believe about 5 laps before we'll start seeing a lot of people moving up the lane. Definitely after the pit stops, everybody will be looking for that yellow line in the corners, but that's definitely not going to be the fastest line as we see the 62 get a little tight on exit.
That was close, Mike. And I was going to ask you, if you're that second pack, let's say right where, let's say, Clark's at in that 7th position, he's about 4.6 seconds behind. I know we're used to calling speedway races or tracks that are a little bit more lengthy, if you will. What do you have to do at a track like this in order to catch that front pack? Are you going to try to tandem up like on a super speedway, or is it just trying to catch that draft the best you can?
Well, the one thing is you want to tandem a little bit. You want to try to stay behind the guy in front of you and work together to try to catch that field. Especially if the leaders are side by side, like we've seen 4th place with Parker Collins and Darren Strout side by side. Definitely got to start. The leaders starting to pull away. I believe that this pack here, the 22, Nick Offord and Brian Clark will definitely be catching up to leaders.
And speaking of the leaders, Mike, it looks like we have a 3-car tandem up there in that lead pack. We can jump back up to that lead pack. It's Riley Hoots, Medina, and Matt Bradley up there, and they're starting to pull away from third, Mike. We're seeing about a 1.7 seconds now between them and fourth place. So they are starting to use that tandem method as you were talking about, just racing hard. They're at the top, and that gap's just seeming to get wider and wider by each lap. And Mike Riley's one of those drivers that we've watched here in the past couple weeks that's really done what he's doing here now and lead the pack, lead the way, but he hasn't been able to get his car into victory lane. As we're starting to see some cars go down pit road there, keep an eye on who's going to make these green flag pit stops. It looks like
the 62 and the 20 of Ryan Lewis.
Making some early green flag pit stops here in lap 35. Here in the High Octane Sim Series.
Remember, we talked about it earlier. Who's going to short pit early to get that advantage on tires? And not just tires. If they come out and they're faster than these leaders, how much of a gap can they close before the leaders end up coming in the pits?
See some more cars. Probably going to pit here pretty soon. They're going to close in on that window as you start to see some cars. Maybe think about committing to that pit road, because we're going to be about 4 laps to go in that fuel window for these cars. Never mind the tire wear that they've been putting on these machines so far in this race here at Kentucky. But we'll keep an eye out on that. But as you were talking about, Mike, those leaders are really stacking up that front gap there in that lead pack.
Speaking of lead pack, David Medina down pit road.
Funky cold Medina in that 9 machine. That paint scheme is looking very icy here tonight. See if David can put that machine in victory lane. And boy, he's been racing here the past couple weeks like he wants to. And there is a battle for the lead going on the track here, Mike. I'm not sure how long this battle is going to last, because I'm sure one of these boys are going to head down pit road here pretty soon. But it is now Matthew Badby leading the way here at Kentucky in the High Octane Sim Series. He has picked up where he left off last weekend. He's now leading this race, and is probably going to be our race leader down pit road here pretty soon.
Most definitely. I think they've been listening to the broadcast and heard you say about not racing too much.
So
speaking of...
Oh, no, it's going to be Matthew Badby is going to be the one heading down pit road, as Riley Hoots is going to stay out. And Mike, with 10 laps to go here in the stage, probably about 9 or 8 once everything gets shuffled back out, as an iRacer, when you're making these pit stops, are you thinking about tires yet, or do you just want to get that fuel go ahead and filled up to go ahead and end the stage out?
I'm thinking of fuel, to be honest with you. But as we see Riley Hoots hitting pit lane as our new race leader is going to be Brian Clark. But yeah, with the stages, you want to try to aim for points. Stages, you're going to get a stage break here shortly, so you can come back down pit road and just get those tires. But me, like, if it's feeling good on old tires, I would try to just splash and go. Enough to get me to the end of the stage.
Boy, Mike, if the grid is reading correctly there, Clark, I don't know if he's out there. He goes down pit road, and it might be Keith following in that 09. He's going to follow him right behind him. So it looks like this field's going to go ahead and shuffle back out, and it looks like either Riley Hoots or Matthew Badby is going to be our race leader here once things go ahead and shuffle out. And it might be about a 4 or 5 lap shootout to the end of the stage here, Mike.
But speaking of iRacer, I believe you have joined iRacing this week.
I'm getting there. I'm taking baby steps. I got my wheel. Got my subscription, so I just need to start downloading all that good stuff. And hopefully I'll be on the track with these boys pretty soon. But in the meantime, I'm loving it here up in the booth here. It's always exciting. It always feels like I'm racing there on the track with these boys. Is how excited we get up here in the booth. But taking a look at the lead now, Mike, it is Matthew Badby and Riley Hoots. They essentially picked up where they left off after those green flag pit stops.
Yeah, David Medina was there in P3, right with them. But we talked about it earlier, short pitting and trying to get that track position.
Exactly, and you saw Medina kind of make an earlier pit stop than the leaders, and you see him, he's about 2.7 seconds behind these leaders here, and not sure if he's going to be able to close that gap in time, but nonetheless, a great stage run for Medina there. Like I said, he's picking up where he left off last weekend. This is a battle for second here, and you're seeing about a 2.5, 2.6 second gap. Mike, do you think he's going to be able to close that window in time?
To end this stage, I don't think so. If he took tires, which double checking, looks like he did not take tires. His pit stop was about 8.4 seconds. Probably just took 2 sets of tire, like a right side tires, and fuel. Looks like we got about 6 people did take tires. The first person is Parker Collins. Check out him as you see. Battle for fourth. Parker Collins did take 4 tires in that pit stop. 12.22 second pit stop. As we're reading the chat, see Matthew Wilson says can't be here tonight. Clamp on his wheel broke. But cheering on his KPM teammates and Schaefer guys. So, sorry to hear about your wheel. Looking forward to see you definitely next week at the road course, I believe.
Definitely. We appreciate you tuning in here tonight, Matthew. And those Kenny Power Motorsports cars really laid it down last weekend. It was the Kenny Powers Motorsports show, and I didn't realize that reference until after I wrote that little write-up about last week's race. And for those that don't know, Kenny Powers is from the TV show Eastbound and Down, which is a really funny show, but not funny here up at the lead here as we're taking a look at the seriousness of Matthew Badby. He's closing in on less than 4 laps to go in this stage. He's got Riley Hoots in that 24 right behind him. And boy, these two raced it out last weekend, and they're picking up where they left off here in the blue blood state of Kentucky here in the high octane sim series. As you see Riley get a little loose there coming off of 2. That's really going to give Matthew a little bit more speed there, but you see Riley go ahead and pick up that speed back coming around 3 and 4 here. It's still going to be Matthew Badby, our race leader, going to take him to the line here with less than 3 laps to go here in stage 1 of the high octane sim series here live from Kentucky on 10-4 broadcasting. And Matthew's man, he's laying it down here, Mike, but anything can happen here in the high octane sim series. It is a long race and a long way to go here.
Definitely 180 laps. It's like about 130 laps is going to be remaining, if I did my math correctly. Looking forward to the battles that we're going to see here. As we show Nicholas Compton, Brian Clark.
That 09 machine of Keith Fallon. As we mentioned, this is Keith's last race here at the High Octane Sim Series, but he is racing in 6th position. He's part of that second pack. That's about, for them, it's about 9-10 seconds behind the leader, because even Medina in that 3rd position is a solid almost 4 seconds behind Riley Hoots and Matthew Badby in that lead pack. But boy, we're going to have 1 lap to go here in the High Octane Sim Series for stage 1. Who's going to get that big stage victory? Looks like it's going to be Matthew Badby, as he is all solo dolo. Cue up the Kid Cudi there as he is coming down into 3. Around 4, and Mike, man, he just put on a racing clinic there in stage 1.
Well, we've seen Riley Hoots had an early lead, and then Matthew Badby, came in to take it.
It's going to be Riley Hoots coming home in that second position here in stage one, and those two just really took off from the rest of the field, and they never really looked back there in stage one.
Definitely, I'd be interested to hear what he's got to say about his stage one victory. And does he think he can take a stage one victory all the way to the finish?
See if we can't get him on the radio for you there, Mike. See if we can't get our stage one winner on the radio to see what he thinks about that win here. He is racing for Kenny Power Motorsports, and see if he's got some time to take with us here. Hey, Matt, it's Mike and Will up here in the 10-4 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. I think Mike's got some questions about how you put on a racing clinic there in stage one.
Yes, sir. My question is, I've seen guy only took about 2 tires on pits. Did you take lefts or rights?
Actually, I didn't take any.
Wow.
I went without tires. The tires still felt a little dead, but I definitely tried to survive.
Definitely looks like Riley Hoots is having a little bit of connection issues behind you. The one thing is, how did it feel with not taking tires? Did you feel like the track was moving up a lane? It was getting tighter?
It was definitely getting tighter and moving up at the same time. It was kind of both of them, and yeah, the track definitely changed from qualifying to race.
Do you think by the end of this race you'll be running the Kyle Larson line?
Not necessarily. I don't think so. I just think we'll be running maybe middle of the track, just shift up a little bit, not all the way up by the wall.
Gotcha. How do you think Stage 2 is going to turn out? Think you're going to get that W again?
I sure hope so. Get this car back in victory lane and get another stage win. That'd be really, really cool.
Definitely look forward. What do you think the key moments of this next stage is going to be?
I think definitely saving tires is going to play a factor. I definitely think that everybody needs to start saving a little bit extra just to keep up with each other.
Who do you think is going to be your biggest competition in this next stage?
I definitely think Riley still. Riley has been saving his tires well, and I think he'll stick with me a little bit.
All right. Any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
A shock and every sponsor on this car, and all my teammates and my family.
You looking forward to next week?
Yeah. Daytona road course, I think. So, I'm decent at road courses, and hopefully I can pull one off again.
Oh, definitely hope to chat you in Victory Lane tonight.
I sure hope so. See you there.
Alrighty, that was Matthew Badby, our stage one winner there, Mike, and boy, he is calm, cool, and collected there in the lead position. It almost seems like he is comfortable in the lead, if you will.
Yes, I believe he has a shot to win, but I'm not gonna pick him as a favorite. I think I'm still gonna go with Zachary Compton.
Okay, I like that pick there, straight out of Compton there for Zachary. But I gotta go with last week's winner there, Matthew Batby. I know it's kind of cliche to say since he's leading the way here at Kentucky, but the way he raced last week and the way he raced the week before, boy, he is just solidifying himself in this series. And just from what I saw on stage one, Mike, him and Riley just really pulled away from the rest of the field, and I'd be curious to see if the same thing happens here in stage two.
Well, we've seen a little bit that Riley Hoots' connection started to bounce a little bit there towards the end of the stage. That's the one I think that's going to be a key here tonight, is if his connection is going to hold off throughout the race. Looks like the 3 car will be getting the lucky dog here. Speaking of that 3 car, that Dale Earnhardt Oreo scheme. And that's James Brosker. Looks like he's going to be shown. I think it's 2 laps down, I believe. Yes, 2 laps down. They're going to get back on the lead lap. Who is your underdog here this evening?
My underdog. See, I like that, Mike. I like that idea of picking an underdog instead of picking a favorite. So, if I had to pick an underdog, I think it's going to be that number 45 of Staff. He ran really good last week. Really clean race. I think he might have been caught up in some late race action there. But Staff, I mean, he's my underdog there. He always seems to creep up. Darren Skeleton Staff. There we go. I love that bio there out of Randolph, Minnesota. And Staff's really kind of put on here. I know he might not be our points leader, really be the flashy driver as everybody likes to see there on the track, but he has put himself right there. And they're going to look at the points here. Darren Staff is in that 8th position. He's ran 6 races here on the year. He's got 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s. So Mike, he has put himself in that chase position by picking up the win here. Boy, that could lock in his place in that chase, and with only a few races to go before that chase window closes for these drivers, man, Darren could really do some big things picking up a win here.
I think my dark horse this evening is going to be that 51 Kelly Thomas. He's past couple of races he's been there, shown he's got speed. And definitely looking forward to see what he can do here tonight.
Talking about speed, we're back green here at Kentucky, live on 10-4 broadcasting. We actually have a high-octane sim series. We missed that green flag as we were picking underdogs, but look at my underdog and Staff. He is already climbing his way up to the 3rd position, right behind Riley Hoots. They want to try to fight with Riley Hoots a little bit up there to kind of keep those boys from pulling away like they did in stage 1. And boy, look at Staff. He's racing with Riley on that inside lane there. Kind of dips below the yellow as we're keeping an eye on Darren Staff up there in the 2nd position. He's going to fight for 2nd, going down into 1. He's going to take that over from Riley Hoots, who's solidified himself in that 2nd position. Now he is fighting on the back bumper of Matthew Badby, and there goes Darren Staff on the inside lane. He is going for that lead. He is fighting for those underdogs. This is St. Peter's basketball team all over again here. As you see, Darren Staff is now leading the way here at Kentucky. He's going to lead the way here at lap 58 here in the High Octane Sim Series. Man, that was quick.
Speaking of the underdog, Matthew's looking to get back in that lead. As we see, the 45 has moved up 2 lanes in 1 and 2.
Yeah, you saw big speed coming off of 2 there in that middle lane that he found. Oh, as you see, Matthew Badby had to almost check up on the back bumper of that 45. But you see, Darren had a lot of speed coming off of 2, but may have let off just a little bit too much going down into 3 there, Mike.
Looks like he's backing his corners up just a tad bit, so that he's a little faster out of the corner. As we've seen, the 22 and the 9 almost connect there.
Seeing Riley not have the same speed he had in stage 1, as he might be overtaken again by David Medina on that inside lane there. He is losing some positions. He is going to be down if Medina can overtake him here. He's going to be down about 3 positions to start the stage 2. You see him and Medina are racing side by side. Medina still wanting that position. He's not giving up on it just yet as they're digging down into the corner. It's Medina on that inside lane there in the 9. Riley Hoots on the outside in that 24, and they touch just barely there on the corner panel, but no harm, no foul there as Medina is going to overtake Riley going down into the corner here. Taking a good look at that as you see Staff is now starting to pull away from Badby. Riley goes back out to the inside. He wants to overtake again for that 3rd position. This is quite the battle for 3rd we got going on here, Mike.
Definitely, being in 3rd place, we're also going to battle a couple cars back. The 20 and the 22 and the 81. Zachary, Nick, and Rye. As we see a deep battle, 3-way battle. As the 22 tries to make that Kyle Larson line work. Meanwhile, back up front, See, David Medina did take third place, with Riley Hoots trying to come back on the inside. And there's that 22. He's got 2 spots in one corner. And moving up.
Boy, Nick wants to get that win here tonight. He is outside of that points window that you want to be in, that top 10 in points. So a win here would not only jump him up into the top 10 in points, but lock him in to the chase. As you see, he's really loving that inside lane there, Mike. You see Riley's not going to go to the inside of Matthew Badby there right on the start-finish line as they go into one. And Riley's got a lot of speed going down into the corner. He might overtake for the lead here.
And Riley Hoots.
Riley Hoots.
As we've seen, that outside line starting to work. That one thing that we know that you're going to notice is as these guys, put rubber down, that track's definitely going to heat up. As we got teammates at 45 and the 20, side by side here for 4th.
In this next window, Mike, we're going to have 100 laps. We still have a lot of racing to go here in stage 2. But boy, cue up the Nelly because it is getting hot and her in stage 2. Because Riley Hoots is now our race leader there. You saw him have lost a little speed on that restart there, but boy, he's climbed his way back up there. It's still staffed in that 45. Is now racing for 3rd between Nick Alford and that 22 machine there, side by side in the corner here, Mike. And keeping an eye out on that lead pack there, and hopefully these boys can keep those leaders in their sights, because in stage 1, once those guys kind of teaming together in that lead position, they took off.
Yes, they did take off, but we see in the second stage that the drivers have understood what the tire wear was, known how fast they can drive it, know how much they can save. So as we see, drivers getting a little more antsy this run. We talked to Matthew, our stage 1 winner, about how tight his car got. He said he got pretty tight, especially not taking tires. So that's definitely going to be a key here. And the track's line is starting to move up.
And talking about tight, we just saw a battle for the lead there, but now you see Nick Alford right on the back bumper of Riley Hoots there. He's going to try to push Riley a little bit there going down into 1. Hopefully going to push him up towards Matthew Badby and then go ahead and whip out either to the outside or inside, whichever line he is feeling in the moment to overtake that lead there. But it's still Matthew Badby now. Has picked up where he left off in stage 1. He was our stage 1 winner here at Kentucky here on the High Octane Sim Series. But there we go. It is Riley Hoots and Matthew Badby now starting to pull away just a tad from Nick there on the 22 machine. You see Darren Staff right behind him on the 45. But we're on lap 68 here on at Kentucky. We bring you live action of the High Octane Sim Series here on 10-4 Broadcasting. If you're liking what you're seeing from us here on 10-4 Broadcasting, go check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Just search 10-4 Broadcasting. It should pop right up. You'll see our little green guy in the corner there. Give us a like, follow, share, all that good stuff. If you're doing this iRacing action about 3-4 days a week here at a different leagues. But jumping back here to the High Octane Sim Series here, Mike, we're almost on lap 70. This is lap 69 here. It is still Matthew Badby and Riley Hoots picking up where they left off in stage 1, if you will.
Speaking of side-by-side action, see the 45 and the 22 going side-by-side, battling hard for 3rd place. But you know what we noticed? That the leaders are not getting away this time.
They really aren't, Mike. You saw Darren Staff get out to the lead, kind of pull away a little bit. You're seeing Matthew Badby kind of pull away a little bit as well. But you're seeing that speed kind of minimize in the corners, Mike. And as someone that's unfamiliar with Kentucky, are you letting off in the corners a lot? Is there a mark on the corners that you want to let off and get back on? Or how do you take on these corners here at Kentucky?
It's kind of hard to describe. But the one thing is, going into 1, you see that little white line. Actually, we'll go on board. We'll go on board with, let's see. Darren
you can
Stroff.
ride-
There we go.
Yeah.
And then we'll take a course on track here as he's side by side with Riley Hoots.
These in-car camera views are brought to you by 10-4 Broadcasting here. We're taking a ride with Darren Staff. Keeping an eye out as you see him letting off there.
Just a tad bit going into 1. But 3 and 4 here, I think he's a little bit harder on the brake.
See him coming in about 168.
It's like you're dropping down to 140 now, so which means those tires are starting to fade away.
And I saw him like just as he was starting to pass that Kentucky logo on 3. That's when you start to get back onto the gas a little bit. Is that sort of your mark where you want to accelerate, where you kind of want to pick up speed there?
Oh, as
you see him get a little loose.
You get loose, you got a little tight there coming out of 2.
We'll jump back to that backpack, Mike, because I believe Ryan Lewis is leaving that 10th position there, and those boys are about 2.5, 3 seconds behind these leaders here. You see that gap get a little bit built up there. As you see, somebody in the chat said they wanted to see the other cars. Well, it's Matthew Badby and Riley Hoots have kind of pulled away from the rest of the field there in stage 1. They're starting to do it again here in stage 2. The rest of these guys are running. We're seeing just to run that backpack there. We're seeing King. He's about 22 seconds behind. Keith Fallen, unfortunately, is now about 12 seconds behind. I think that's Nicholas Compton in that 80 machine. He's about 9 seconds. And then the gap kind of shoves a little bit there with Riley Thomas is about 3.5 seconds behind. And then Bledsoe is about 3.3 seconds. And then Ryan Lewis is about 1.8 at that point there. So these boys start to get a little fanned out in these stage races here, Mike. But we're going to have less than 25 laps to go here in stage 2.
And that side-by-side racing ended up breaking away the pack, so we got a little bit of a breakaway, 4-car breakaway with Matthew Baby, Riley Hoots, Nick Offord, and David Medina, the top 4 breakaway. Parker Collins.
No cautions yet here, Mike. These boys are keeping it clean here on the track.
And I think you're going to jinx it. As we've seen people coming down pit road. The 51, Kelly Thompson, Alan Bledsoe, and Robert King are now down pit road.
This
looks
is
like
about that window.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing pit stops. Who's going to pit early? Who's going to pit late? We talked about Matthew saying that he did not take tires that last stage.
Let's go ahead and grab those tires here because we're going to have less than about 12 laps to go on that fuel window. Never mind the tires there, but I'm sure those tires are getting a little wear here tonight at Kentucky as it's still Matthew Badby leading the way here with Riley Hoots right behind him. Off of that 22 machine. We've seen him really charge through the field here tonight, put himself in that top 3 position. He needs a solid finish here tonight to go ahead and move himself up in the points table, but David Medina in that 9 machine is in that 4th spot, and boy, it kind of drops off after that, Mike, as you've seen about a half a second and 1.5 seconds between 4th place and 5th place, so starting to get a little fanned out here at Kentucky. I know it's not very exciting for the viewers or for the fans as these boys start to get a little fanned out, but you're starting to see those green flag pit stops come into play a little bit there. As you saw Matthew Badby and Riley Hoots, they waited essentially almost to the last second to make those green flag pit stops, but it really paid off for them because once they came out, they had that speed and they were able to overtake again.
Definitely, as we see the battle here for 3rd place, heating up. But again, we've seen the 45 hit the wall coming at it too, just got a little too tight. Don't want to burn up your tires. But as we see in Formula 1, drivers, if you end up coming to the pit, you want to burn your stuff up there the last lap.
You see a battle for third place going on here, Mike, between David Medina and Nick Alford in that 22. You see David's really trying to inch the nose out there to try to get himself back in front of Nick there in that 22. But Nick seeming as though he has the speed coming off the corner there. He's going to overtake for that third position. You're seeing that 54 machine kind of creep up. I believe that 54 of Collins. He's climbed his way back up there as well with those guys. We are starting to get a little fanned out at the lead there, Mike. But like we said, the green flag pit stops are going to come back into play here momentarily because they're going to have less than, I say, about 7 laps on that fuel window. It's going to be a 10-lap shootout to the end of Stage 2. The Stage 2 is going to end at lap 100 here at Kentucky. We're bringing you live action of the High Octane Sim Series here live on 10-4 Broadcasting. Looks like we have a Kevin Bullock fan in the chat there. It looks like Kevin's running in about the 13th position. He is about a lap down now, according to the grid, but anything can happen here in the High Octane Sim Series. Taking a look at him racing out of Elizabethton, Tennessee there. A little bit of a Rocky Top action there. Racing out of American Badass Racing. You gotta love that team name there. And he's 49 years old and loves sim racing. Boy, that team really held it down last week, and we gotta appreciate those paint schemes.
Meanwhile, back in front.
Where they are racing hard up there back. And Collins seemed to really climb his way back up there. Just a few laps ago, Collins was about a second and a half behind this lead pack, and he found that draft line between Nick Alford and David Medina. As mentioned, Nick Alford looks like he's going to creep to the inside lane there, thinking about overtaking Riley in that second position. He go ahead and files back in there. But look at Collins in that 54. He's going to go to the inside lane with a lot of speed there. And Riley sees that speed coming and wisely throws that back bumper right in front of Collins there. As you see, they're going to go door to door here on the backstretch. Saw a little hesitation out of the wheel there at Collins in that 54, but the hesitation didn't cause him to lose much speed there as he's going to overtake Riley Hoots in that second position. You see Riley wisely put that nose right behind that bumper, just go ahead and maintain that speed behind him. And as you see Riley go ahead and give the wall a little love tap there going into the corner, and he's going to lose a lot of speed from that. That 54 machine is going to try to catch that draft off of Matthew Badby here on the backstretch.
Meanwhile, we're single file. So James Brosker is now in pit road.
The first sets of green flag pit stops are taking place in Stage 2. Keeping an eye out on the second pack here. It looks like Staff has dropped back down into 7th position there after running in that lead. He's mixed in with Zachary Compton there as well, one of those drivers who I think that was your pick last week there, Mike. But these boys aren't out of it just yet. We saw it last weekend. We saw a couple drivers kind of linger in the backpack, and once things started to heat up a little bit, you saw them make that charge there at the lead. And do you want to do that, Mike, at a track like this with 180 laps here at Kentucky? You want to kind of just run your race until it's time to go ahead and flip that switch and make that charge?
Most definitely. The one thing you don't want to do is wait too long. The stages, it's good to see how things play out the first couple laps, but after the second stage, you want to go.
We all want to be like Go Dog Go. Shout out to Dr. Seuss there. But you're starting to see maybe those green flag pit stops are going to start to take place here. I'd say in about a lap or two, you're starting to see some more cars go ahead and drift down pit road here. And I'm curious to see which guys in this lead pack are going to go ahead and make that pit stop first here. As you see Collins in that 54. Really trying to catch that draft of Matthew Badby there. You see Medina still registered in that 3rd position. So the lap car kind of get mixed into the pack there, Mike.
Speaking of the lap car, looks like the lap car is trying to get his lap back the old-fashioned way, as they used to say. Don't wait for the caution. Oh, as he hits the wall. Speaking of pit stops, said before, Patrick Collins, first in pit road. As we got some people from the second pack, the 45, Ryan Lewis, and Darren Strouf, your dark horse.
That is my dark horse, and man, he made me proud there for a minute when he overtook the lead, Mike, but looks like these are teammates here heading down pit road here with the same paint schemes on those machines, and Collins really was a hard charger there in stage 2, but we're going to have less than 8 laps to go here in stage 2 when we cross this line here at Kentucky. As you see Funky Cold Medina in that 9 machine go ahead and hit down pit road. It looks like Matthew Badby is going to go ahead and head down pit road as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have about a 5-lap shootout here in stage 2 to go ahead and get our stage 2 victor. And I'm curious to see what these boys take here on pit road. As you see, Nick Alford is now our race leader in that 22. Maybe picking up some hot laps here, picking up those lead laps. He needs all the points he can get to go ahead and climb his way up in that top 10. Solidify his playoff position, but boy, like I mentioned when we started this broadcast here, a win will put you in that chase. So doesn't matter where you're at right now in the points, a win will do it for you here in the high octane sim series. And boy, Mikey's gonna have to make that pit stop here pretty soon. As you already see, Matthew Badby's already out of pit road, and I don't want to go ahead and put the commentator's curse on Matt just yet, but as you see, he's going to be pretty fast already on the track, and he's going to have quite a wide margin between him and second place.
I was just gonna say if he's gonna go on our lap, but wise decision here early on.
We're starting to see this shuffle here after those green flag pit stops, and looks like we might have this battle picking up where it left off here between Riley Hoots and Matthew Badby here at the top.
Matthew Badby is going to probably be your race leader. Actually, he will be your race leader.
But it looks like the grid is registering Matt as a lap down here, Mike. So he's trying to get that lap back. So it looks like Riley Hoots is our race leader here at Kentucky.
Riley Hoots has just pitted, along with Brian Clark and Nicholas Compton. So once everything cycles out, Matthew Badby will take over the lead.
There are a few other names out there.
It's like Riley Hoots is taking 4 tires according to our pit stop calculator.
Keith Fallon is now our race leader here on the track. And green flag pit stops gives us an opportunity to fan everything out, to reshuffle almost like a deck of cards on a poker table, if you will, where you shuffle those cards up and you see if you get that ace of spades on the top or you get that joker card. And man, we are looking at an ace of spades right here. And Keith Fallon racing in his last race here in the high octane sim series. And Mike, if he can keep that machine out on the track just a few more laps, he might go ahead and pick up the stage 2 victory.
Definitely. It sounds like he's turning the car off and coasting. He's going to go on board and see if we can hear that.
It's just got about 4 laps to close that window to get this stage victory here tonight.
Ooh, as we see, Keith is coasting into the corners. This is definitely a game changer coming here to the stage.
That is a wise move. That is a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off. Shout out to the Average Joe's dodgeball team because it paid off for them and it's paying off for Keith here tonight here in the High Octane Sim Series. He is now our race leader, and shout out to Kevin Bullock who is in that second position here. If Keith runs out of gas, it might be Kevin's stage victory if he can just hope for the best and hope for Keith to run out of fuel as we see him coasting around the corners here at Kentucky. Mike. We're going to have less than 2 laps to go here in stage 2 at Kentucky, and this race is flying by, ladies and gentlemen, here. And you'll see the speed out of the High Octane Sim Series. We're taking a ride on with Matthew Badby here just to see how far he is from that second place car of Keith Fallen here. I don't know, Mike. It might be that gap's just a little bit too far. We're going to have 1 lap to go here. We'll see if Matt can close that window, if we can take a wider shot there. There we go, to see if he can close this gap here on this last lap of stage 2. But it might be Keith Fallen racing in his last race here in the High Octane Sim Series. He might be able to pick up that stage victory. Around 4 here, he is all by himself, and it looks like it's going to be Keith Fallen picking up the stage 2 victory here. Shout out to Keith, man, racing in his last race here in the High Octane Sim Series is our stage 2 winner.
And I believe Will will be down talking to his crew chief. And who knows, we'll try to get the driver here in chat to get some feedback from him.
Hey Keith, this is Mike and Will up here in the 10-4 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey man, in your last race in the season, we just gotta wish you good luck with everything you got going on. And man, for your last race, you just picked up the stage 2 victory. And take us through how this race has been playing out for you here so far.
Well, I haven't been able to get in position where I wanted to be. Track position's king on here. So just trying to do something different than what the leaders were doing, and see if I can get some track position here.
We saw that we're seeing these green flag pit stops play a big role in this race here at Kentucky. And Keith, we saw you kind of coasting around the corners there. How close were you from running out of fuel there?
I'm out of gas right now.
So that answers my question. There we go.
Should have enough to get it back to pit row, though.
There we go, and you'll see the stage 2 winner here, Keith Fallen. We're chatting with him, got him on the radio. And Keith, you are stage 2 victor here. We're going to have about 80 laps to end out stage 3. What do you think is going to be the key factor here, the late stages of this race?
Tires. I've noticed a big fall off with the tires. So it's all going to be about saving tires, and that's what I'm going to try to do, see if I can get my last race a victory.
We want to see nothing less than you put that 09 machine and ride off in the sunset, if you will. But before we let you go, Keith, and in your last race, and hopefully we get a chance to talk to you again. I'm sure we'll give you an interview here at the end of the race. Even if you don't win, we'll get you up here in the booth. But Keith, before we let you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to, or anybody that you might have watching here tonight?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my dad, my mom, and my wife, and just let them know that I love them all, and we'll see what happens to see if I can find a new league for Sunday night.
Awesome. Well, Keith, we appreciate you taking the time with us here tonight. And like I said, hopefully next time we chat with you, you're in victory lane. And we just want to wish you congratulations with your promotion. I guess that's why you're leaving the High Octane Sim Series here. But as my co-host Mike said, there might be that phantom day off where we might see you back here in the series.
Yep, I'll be around. So if I can get a Friday off, I'll definitely be in for a race.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time here. So if I can't get you back with your crew chief there, and wish you good luck here the rest of the race.
I appreciate it, man.
That was Keith Fallen, our stage 2 winner there, Mike. And man, he just played that green flag pit stop strategy the best that I've seen in a while.
Definitely. And if I recall, a couple races ago, this was almost the same strategy. This is going to turn into one good race.
It sure is, Mike. It sure is. And of course, while we got this car on screen, we do want to give a special shout out to our sponsor here in tonight's event. And boy, we were munching on that barbecue and steak. We just took a second there to get those ribs with a little bit of sauce on those ribs. But big shout out to Captain Jack's Smokehouse there, giving you all the best barbecue and steak that you can enjoy there on Amelia Island. We'll give them a check out on Facebook. I'm sure there's a Google page as well. But big shout out to Captain Jackson. How are you liking that barbecue so far, Mike?
Oh, I love it. I wish I can get some more of it.
Oh man, we can't get enough here up in the booth of Captain Jack's Smokehouse, and we do want to give a special shout out to Keith, who's racing that Captain Jack Smokehouse sponsor on the side, and I believe that is his dad's restaurant there in Amelia Island. So big shout out to Keith Fallon there and Captain Jack Smokehouse. But can't forget about our other sponsors here in the High Octane Sim Series, Mike, and that's Octane. Octane, as you see, we got their logo up in the corner there. Big shout out to Octane for being a sponsor of tonight's event. Big shout out to the High Octane Sim Series for having us here broadcasting these races, and we are enjoying ourselves up here in the booth, and has been a shootout so far, Mike.
Definitely. Yeah, the races have been spread out, but I believe here the last 80 laps or so, 75 laps I think before we go green here, is definitely going to be one for the books. We've seen some new faces up front. The 54, Parker Collins. Dark Horses, Kelly Thomas. Dalen Schaff has been up there all race long. Let's see, Kevin Burlock, he's up there. A lot of good names up there in the front.
Yeah, Collins seemingly came out of nowhere there in stage 2, crept up the field and put his car in prime position, but we were about to see that pace car with the lights off. We're gonna peel off here. We're gonna start stage 3 here in the High Octane Sim Series, live from Kentucky here on 10-4 Broadcasting. We'll see how this restart goes for these drivers, and boy, I'm excited to get back racing and see who can pull home this victory here at Kentucky.
As the pace cars ducks down pit lane, we are green flag. There we see Matthew Babby take on the lead back up front.
That stage 1 victory. Starting to see him pull off a little bit there, Mike, but Collins is right behind him in that 54 machine. We're seeing Bledsoe now creep up there. That Jeff Gordon throwback DuPont machine, that 42 on his way up in this race lead as well. But look at Nick Alford in that 22. He has not given up on that speed just yet, as he is in that 4th position. Rounding out that top 5 there, Mike, is Darren Staff in that 45. Tom drift all the way back down to 10th there in stage 2, but you see him creeping his way back up there into the top 5. You see him going to the inside there of Nick, thinking about it. They're going to the Rise and go ahead and backs off a little bit, but he is sticking to that inside lane, Mike, and as we're watching Matthew Webby take him to the line here in lap 107. Which line, from about 100 laps in, which line do you think has had the most speed here today?
I believe it's the second line. That's the faster line, as you see the 42 entered on the second line and also trying to make the move for second place. But the one thing is the car's going to get tight and you don't want to hit that wall. That's going to be that's the key. So far that we've seen the 45 tap the wall, trying to make a move on the outside. It just got too tight. But I believe it's that second line is definitely the fastest line.
Second line for the viewers that aren't familiar, say, with a track like this, that would be the outside lane or like that middle lane.
Looks like we do have a caution.
We have a caution on the track, Mike. That's going to be our 3rd caution of the race here. Curious to see where that event occurred here on the track. We'll go ahead and rev up that 10-4 broadcast and replay for you to see what exactly happened on the track. We're assuming that it may have happened in the back of the pack here. Taking a look here. Ooh, big impact between those cars, and these cars were running seemingly in dead last, as you see just a few cars pass them there. Between Zachary Compton in that 80, 81, and I believe it's the 20.
That 20 of Ryan Lewis.
Yeah, and they were running about 18th and 19th position respectfully there. Just a little mishap there in the back of the pack, and that's going to be our third caution here at Kentucky. And Mike, that is our first racing caution of the night.
Definitely. Let's see if I can put up the slow motion here. As you see, the 81 and the 20 do get together. The one thing that you would notice is that it looks like they don't touch. For iRacing, there's a little bit of a net code right there. That is something that iRacing is still working on, but those things will happen. Nothing you can do about it. Just move on, and hopefully we'll get back to racing here shortly. As you see the 3 car getting another lap back.
Look at that replay just again here on my screen just to see if there was a little bit of net code. Yeah, just a little bit there, but it almost seemed like that Zachary was coming down on the track there, just didn't know where Rye was in relation to him coming down on the track, and I think the iRacing net code, if you will, we don't like to mention that word here at 10-4 Broadcasting, because it ruins everybody's night when it happens, but it looks like it was pretty close, Mike.
Definitely. Still, as we've seen a couple races ago, on a mile and a half, just a little bit of damage does not hurt. These type of tracks, it won't hurt. I believe they will be back up front. Ryan Lewis was up front a little bit early on. Zachary Compton was also up in the second pack just about. Definitely going to be interesting here as the 89 is playing bumper cars with Brett Bodine up there.
Giving that pace car a little rub on that back bumper there. And Mike, we're going to be on I'd say lap 113 when the racing picks up back here at Kentucky. And Mike, what are some of the things you're keeping an eye out for here? We're going to have less than probably 60, 70 laps here. Of course, we're going to have another fuel window. It's going to come into play here in this last little bit of run. But some of the things I've noticed, Mike, is some of the drivers are picking that inside lane or the second lane as you were talking about. But then some of the drivers are picking a different lane, say on 3 and 4. Is that something you would see on a track like this? Maybe you have some speed on the inside on 1 and 2, but then you realize that your speed might be a little bit faster on the outside on 3 and 4?
Yes, definitely. You'll see that at other racetracks that we're going to go to. That one corner you probably be running the inside line. 3 and 4 would definitely be running the outside line. It's basically you're burning your tires off in one corner and cooling off in the next.
You see those tires come into play here. As we mentioned to start this broadcast here, drivers are going to have 5 sets of tires on the night. So you want to go ahead and keep those tires as crispy as you can, because once you run out, that's it for these drivers here tonight. And Mike, I do want to give an opportunity for the viewers and for the chat to go ahead and shout out your favorite driver, or anybody that you have an eye out for here tonight, or somebody that you're cheering on here. I know it's been kind of a fanned out race, and we saw a little bit more excitement there in stage 2 to end stage 2, and we actually just had our first competition caution here. But I do want to invite anybody that's tuning in here tonight, give a shout out to your drivers. I know they appreciate the fan support. Go ahead and make your race pick as we did here in tonight's broadcast. And my underdog of tonight, Darren Staff, look at him, Mike. He's running in that 3rd position.
Yeah, Darren Staff has been up there all race long. Who knows? I think can come up with a victory if he plays his cards right. But this pit stop that a lot of them, I believe they did while we were showing the replay. Just double checking through my sources here. Yes, a few of them did come pit road. This now has turned into a fuel strategy race. So, who's going to make it to the end? We'll find out here.
We sure will, Mike. And taking a look at Darren Staff in that 45, my underdog pick of tonight's race. We're going to look back at Talladega last weekend, and He came home in P8, place 8. He ran a 49 flat, was his fastest lap there, and man, he came home with a top 10 finish there, and he's racing in the top 5 here tonight. It seems as though each race that goes by, Darren gets a little bit more faster, a little bit more comfortable in that
As
machine.
we are green flag.
We are green again here at Kentucky, and you see that Darren Staff on the outside is fighting with Collins in that 54. You see Collins thinking about going to the inside of Badby there, and you see Badby's really getting that rocket restart, if you will. He is shooting it out of a cannon to start these things off. Matthew Badby's now leading the way down into 3. Watching Matthew Badby leading the way here around 3. We're 3 wide right now on the front stretch. 3 wide racing, ladies and gentlemen, as Darren Staff's on the inside, Collins is in the middle. Looks like Bledsoe's in that 42. Oh man, it's gonna get tight going into the corner. But looks like Darren Staff has found that lane on the outside as he goes to the inside. A lot of speed coming around that corner there. As you see him go to the inside of Matthew Badby here, man, he got a lot of speed coming off that corner here. He might overtake Matthew Badby for this lead. Coming around 3 and 4 here. Might be looking at our new race leader in Darren Staff in that 45. He got a lot of speed off the corner there. Big push, it looks like, from his teammate there, Collins. Now Darren Staff leading the way here at Kentucky in the High Octane Sim Series.
Speaking of teammates, behind, Collins pushing the 45, helping him out.
Staff is thinking about that inside lane as he's coming around 4. He's still all by himself there at the top there. As I have an opportunity to do so there, I do want to give a shout out to Matthew Wilson, who wants us to talk about how well that 42 machine looks. And boy, Bledsoe's giving us a good view of that 42 machine running in the top 5. The majority of tonight's race really climbed his way up into stage 2. Good finish there, taking a look at that. And big shout out to James and the 3 machine for painting this car here tonight, rocking that the flames, if you will, of the old school Jeff Gordon machine. And Jeff ran that paint scheme almost until the day he retired in that 24. So big shout out to James and that 3 machine for painting that bad boy in tonight's race. And he was trying to put that 42 machine in victory lane. I do want to give a shout out to James in this 3 machine for rocking that Oreo Dale Earnhardt machine. Almost reminds me of the Nilla wafer car that was ran a little bit for Junior there. And that's James Brosker in that 3 machine, and James is running a pretty good race here tonight. He's in 13th position, kind of just chugging along here at Kentucky, but if we can't put that 3 machine in victory lane. But I know that 42 of Bledsoe wants to put that flame machine in victory lane, and still Darren Staff leading the way here at Kentucky. Big action there out of Nick Alford as he goes to the outside. You see him get a little loose, trying to get around that 42 machine as we were just mentioning Bledsoe. And they're racing hard in this lead pack.
Definitely, it's they got two more pit stops, I believe. Maybe, yeah, 2 more pit stops. So definitely keeping this pack closer.
Do have a confirmation from the chat there. James is in the car from the 2001 Bud Shootout. Some big NASCAR history there. James is way throwback machine there, but it's good to see that number 3 and that black and white car on the track here tonight. But talking about this battle for the lead we got going on the front right here, going down into 1 and 2. It's Matthew Badby is now caught back up to Darren Staff in that 45, but he's got Collins, Badby's teammate, in that 54 right behind him. So it looks like Badby is going to be sandwiched in between 2 teammates there, but Badby, man, he has come into tonight with a lot of speed. He has not faded at all out of this top 5. We're in lap 120 with less than 60 laps to go, and Mike, I've never seen that machine, the 89 machine, really fade out of the top 10 at all in tonight's race.
Speaking of second place, looks like we're going to have a new second place leader as they're 3 wide for 5th.
Man, that gets tight in the corner there, Mike.
Oh, definitely. That's just talking about it earlier. You know, don't want to lose your tires. And I believe Keith, we talked to Keith saying about how tight it really gets the longer the run.
And you don't want to treat those tires as Chris Farley treated that East roll and that Diner Atomic Boy. You just want to pet it. You want to be nice to it. You want to take care of it. You don't want to tear it apart. You don't want to shred those tires. You want to keep those tires nice and calm so that way those tires can lead you into victory lane. And speaking of victory lane, looks like Nick Alford in that 22 is racing like he wants to put that machine in victory lane here tonight, as he might overtake Darren South in this lead here. And Nick really needs a solid finish here tonight to put himself up in that top 10 position for the chase. And boy, if he can get that car into victory lane, that would lock in his position for the playoffs. And doesn't matter where you're at in the points right now, if you can get a win on the season, you can match your way into those chase points, if you will. But Nick and Darren are going to go side by side here on the backstretch.
Looks like we have Riley Hoots is having little bit of connection issues. I believe he has sent his car to the garage a little bit. Try to see if he can fix that issues. Tough blow for Riley Hoots, who was dominating early on.
Tough blow indeed, Mike, because Riley has ran really good races throughout this season here. Just hasn't put his car in victory lane yet. Talking about victory lane, looks like Nick has found his speed in that 22 machine. Of course, Nick Alford is the admin here at the High Octane Sim Series, and we do want to appreciate him bringing us on here to broadcast these races for these drivers. And boy, he is wanting to solidify himself in that chase spot heading to the road course next week. And Nick has seemingly pulled away a little bit from Darren coming out in the corners here, Mike. And if you can take a look at the last pit stops there, did he put 4 fresh tires on that machine?
Yes, he did.
Boy, it is looking like he has found some speed on those fresh tires. It's almost like a fresh pair of Nikes that you can just slip onto your feet and be like, oh man, these things are comfy. He is enjoying those fresh tires there at the lead. But he's building up that lead, Mike. He is almost about a second away from Darren Saff in that second position. Taking a look a little bit further down into the pack there. It looks like most of the drivers are in that second pack, led by Darren Staff and Collins in that 54, and Bobby as well. And Mike, we're seeing a little bit of a gap between that. Oh, we have another caution on the track. Looks like some action on the front stretch there, way back in the field, Mike. It looks like those last place cars are really racing it out there. We'll get that 10-4 broadcast and replay revved up for you here. Check out what exactly happened on the front stretch. I believe it was towards the back of the pack there. Oh, a few cars getting loose. It just led to calamity there in the back of the pack. Cars got loose, and I think it just sent off a chain reaction. The rest of the pack there, Mike.
Definitely pulling it up here. Here we go.
Here. Just a little, yeah.
Oh, 62 came down.
I think the 62 might have gotten a little loose before that, Mike, and I think he was just trying to maintain. As you see, the 80 get a little loose right in front of him there. He was just trying to maintain that machine and maybe just didn't know where that 62 was on the track. And man, that's unfortunate to see James Brosker in that 3 machine, the artiste, if you will, of these awesome paint schemes on the track. And rocking an awesome throwback scheme for Dale Earnhardt in that 3. Taken up in our 4th caution of the night here, Mike. It's only our 2nd on-race caution. The rest of the cautions have come at the end of these stage breaks. And Mike, you enjoying this caution-less race here tonight?
I definitely am. I could have sworn this is going to be fuel strategy. I believe we have a race leader. I'm trying to pull it up. Alright, there we go. Yes, our race leader is Kevin Burlock. He actually has not yet pitted.
He is not pitted yet on the track, but we saw how that played out well for Keith Fallen in that last stage. Kind of coast around the corners. But Mike, we're going to be probably about 50 laps to go here at Kentucky here in the High Octane Sim Series live on 10-4 Broadcasting. And Mike, this fuel window, even if you fill up now and you go ahead and get your fresh set of tires, it's still going to be pretty close.
Yeah, I actually was just doing the math. Looks like you're going to need maybe about a can of fuel to make it to the end, which is definitely going to be a good strategy. But who's going to be the right strategy? You know, even though you come in, you get 4 tires, get a little bit of fuel can, you're definitely going to be a little bit different on the weight balance. With the less weight in the back end, you're going to be a lot tighter.
And you don't want to be rocking schmediums out here. You don't want to be tight in that race car. You want to be nice and loosey-goosey. You want to be rocking some nice Under Armour gear, nice loose and well fit, almost like a hula shirt on the beach, Mike. But looking at Collins and Darren Staff there, they are 1-2 punch there at the top. I'm going to see if I can't get Darren Staff, my underdog pick of tonight's race, here on the radio. Hey, Darren, it's Mike and Will up here in the 10-4 broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Man, you were my dark horse of tonight's race there. Mike asked me what my underdog was, and you were my pick because you've been racing so consistently here the last couple of races. And Darren, we saw you kind of charge up there in stage 2, and you've kind of solidified your spot in this the top 5. Kind of take us through how this race has played out for you.
Yeah. Stage 1, I was trying to, I was just kind of figuring out how to go long run. Just kind of figuring that out. And then once I got a consistency going, I had run through stage 2, trying to run up front a little bit. And then stage 3, we've had a couple cautions now, but just trying to hope the strategy works out for us, and hopefully we can get a W here.
Yeah, we want to see you put that 45 machine in victory lane. I know I don't want to put that commentator's curse on you just yet, but we've seen fuel play a big role in tonight's race, and we're going to have about less than 50 laps to go here in this next window. Do you feel like you're going to have to make one more pit stop at the end, or do you think you can make it to the finish?
I would probably say yeah. I think we're probably gonna make one more stop, but who knows? Also, I wanna preference this for you. It is my last name is pronounced like a staff member.
Right. Yep.
Yep.
Like you're the staff member. You're the staff on the track.
Yep. So just letting you know for you.
Gotcha, Darren. And before we let you go, and hopefully we speak to you next time in Victory Lane, anybody that you want to give a shout out to, anybody that you might have watching here tonight, or any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, Tiny Dog Racing, just everyone on the team. Just an amazing team, and I'm glad to be working with them everywhere we go, whether it's a super speedway race or a half mile like this. It's great to work with them, and hope we can get into victory lane.
Awesome, Darren. Well, we appreciate you taking the time with us here up in the 10-4 broadcasting booth, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Darren Staff, and he is my dark horse of tonight's race, and we are about to go green here again at Kentucky here in the High Octane Sim Series.
And we are green flag. Teammates 1-2. Parker Collins.
Yep. Big jump for Parker on the restart, Mike.
Yes, we noticed on the restarts, the leader is always getting that perfect start.
See single file on that high side lane there. Riley Hoots has jumped into the chat, says his internet crashed and he kicked me from the session. So unfortunately, Riley had some internet issues there and knocked him out of the race. I'm sure we'll see him again at the road course next weekend. We're probably going to be picking up where he left off in that 24 machine, but back to this racing on the track. It has basically opened the door for these guys to pick up the victory here tonight between Darren Staff and Collins up there, and also Nick Alford, who really needs a win here tonight, or really a solid finish because he needs to move his 22 up into the top 10 point standings to get himself into that playoff contention. As you see, he's right on the back bumper of Darren Staff heading down into one. A lot of speed heading down into the corner there, but don't look now, because here comes Keith Fallon in that 09 machine. He was our stage 2 winner there. He's really trying to put that car into victory lane here in his last race here in High Octane Sim. Still leading the way here as lap 134 here at Kentucky. We got Darren Staff right behind him, Nick Alford in that 22. That's going to be our top 3. Also Keith Fallon in 4, and then Matthew Badby is dropping back in 5. Compton's right there in 6. We got David Medina in P7. In 8. We got Shell in P9, and then James Brosker, who we just saw get caught up in some unfortunate incidents there. This is going to be top 10 position. And Mike, if we could go ahead and cut to that second pack of cars there, as we're having a little bit of a battle between teammates there. We do have another gap in between cars, and this looks like it is being led by Brosker in that 3, but maybe Clark in that 31, if I'm not mistaken there, Mike.
It's actually 8 of Nick Shell.
Nick Shell is going to be leading that second pack there. And Mike, what causes that here at Kentucky? Is it just on the restart? You don't have the same amount of speed as that lead pack, or is it just racing?
It's just racing. To be honest with you, we see them side by side. That's with I believe he's with the 51 of Kelly Thomas. Yes, it is Kelly Thomas. And Robert King and James Brosker definitely side by side back there as well. That's hard battles there. That is 9th place. As I believe we just had a change for the lead.
We do. It is now Collins in that 54, now leading Darren Staff in that 45. But again, these are teammates here at 1 and 2. Who wants to put that car in victory lane for Tiny Dog Racing? And your teammate Riley Lewis has had a difficult night all the way down into P16, about 24 seconds off the pace here. Where these teammates are rocking 1-2, a 1-2 punch. They want to put those cars into victory lane, and we'll just see who wants to be that one here tonight. But boy, there's a lot of competition behind those boys in the lead. You got Nick Alford in that 22, who has yet to get a victory on the season. Also Keith Fallon, who this is his last race here tonight in the High Octane Sim Series. You know he wants nothing better to ride off into the sunset with that victory. He is door to door with our points leader Matthew Badby right there, and this is about a 5-car, 6-car pack up here at the lead, with David Medina now leading that at the tail end of that. 50 cars. Oh man, we almost had contact between the 80 and the 09 there between Compton and Fallon coming out of the corner there onto the backstretch. Taking a look there, you see they're really racing for these top 5 positions. And oh man, you see Keith had to kind of give off a little bit on exit. See him file right behind Compton in that 80.
Meanwhile, up front, looks like 22 is trying to get second place in the 45.
You see the 54 is starting to pull away a little bit, Mike, and is it because him and his teammate are the 45 of Staff and 22 of Alford are really racing for that second position that's causing him to pull off a little bit more?
Yeah, we've definitely, when you're side by side, you're definitely losing that lead pack, because it's either the inside line, outside line, trying to get that side draft, trying to get in front of one another, but then it also pushes the leader away because he can get away with clean air.
Oh, and you see Nick kind of give Staff a little bit of tap on that back fender there. He's not letting off. He is racing that Kyle Busch type of race there, kind of gave Staff and Dale Earnhardt push up the track there as Nick Alford's going to take over that second position. Boy, he is hungry here tonight. He wants to take home that first victory here in the High Octane Sim Series. He wants to solidify his spot in the chase. The 22 machine right on the back bumper of Collins there. And He's come hard charging here in the late stages of this race here. We're on lap 142 here at Kentucky live on 10-4 broadcast and bringing you action of the High Octane Sim Series. And it's Colin in that 54, holding off Nick Alford in that 22, but big battles going on behind them, Mike, and they're racing for third position.
Definitely, they're racing side by side while the leaders first and second are getting away. You gotta pick your battles wisely. You don't want the leaders to get away. As the 80 of Nicholas Compton. We haven't talked about him all race.
We have not. That is the relative of Zachary Compton racing that St. Patrick's Day machine there as we're going 3 wide on the front stretch. You see Darren Staff's going to go ahead and pull Matthew Bagby in that 89. Round that 80 of Compton, thinking about it there, but they're going to go door to door on this corner here. Oh man, that was close.
Ooh, as we see contact.
Man. We got contact on the backstretch, Mike, as we were back racing here, and I was just about to say, keeping an eye out on the grid there. It looks like Medina is racing by himself in that 9 machine, but he is closing the gap on this lead pack here. It looks like some time might have fallen off a little bit there as things. So Medina is going to be about a second or 2 behind. A little bit of action there. So Medina in that 9 machine, he's all by himself. In that funky cold Medina ice cold number 9. You see, Mike, is this the right move for him, or do you think he wants to let off a little bit to catch some more cars behind him to push him along, or do you think he's running that right strategy of just pushing that car as hard as he can to catch this lead back?
I believe he's playing the perfect strategy. We've seen between 89, 09, and 80 have a little contact. So I think he's playing the perfect strategy. We still got a little over 30 laps to go. Still a long way to go as the leaders, first and second, Parker and Nick, start to pull away. But we've seen the 45 and the 89 single file. They're trying to catch back in that lead pack.
Go on that outside lane there, coming off of 4, thinking he's going to have a lot more speed on the corner there, but it's just not going to be enough to catch Collins there, as Collins is going to still lead the way here at Kentucky. Giving you live action at a High Octane Sim Series. We're watching the battle for first here, Mike, but on this wide shot, I do want the viewers to go ahead and catch Medina coming around the corner there. There he is in the corner of your screen there, but it looks like he's got a tandem building up behind him, Mike, so they might be able to catch this lead pack here with less than 30 laps to go.
Also remember, we do have pit stops coming up.
Do indeed, Mike. And
Speaking of pit stops, we got David Medina and Nicholas Compton in pit road.
Oh man, I was just about to say, would it be wise for those boys to go ahead and make those pit stops now to get those cars back out on the track in front of these leaders? It looks like they were reading my mind there as we're watching that funky cold Medina machine of David Medina roll down pit road there. Go ahead and get fueled up here for these late stages of the race. But Matthew Bradby is now going to climb his way up into third. These boys are going to have to make pit stops here pretty soon. I think they're just racing for position on the track, because once those green flag pit stops take place, you're going to see this field reshuffle here, Mike. You can look at the fuel pit strategy length there, and Mike, it looks like everybody's going to have to make some sort of pit stop here in these late stages.
Yeah, don't forget we had that late braking caution, which caught everybody down pit road.
Sure we did, Mike. We're going to run our viewers through that pit strategy stint length there and kind of break that down for our viewers that aren't familiar with the pit window term, if you will.
So basically, the pit strategy window shows exactly when they last pitted, and how long they've been on their tires and fuel. As we see, Nick Alford up 9 spots from the start of the race. So we're looking at everybody's definitely going to have to pit here. Definitely the next pit stop. Fuel window is definitely open for sure. As we looks like we're going to have a new second place here, Darren Strouf. Or staff, I should say. I apologize.
He is the staff on the track. Darren Staff is racing like he wants to put that thing in victory lane. He's going to pick here, racing like the St. Peter's basketball team that made it all the way to the Elite Eight. They ran into a buzzsaw that is North Carolina, who I think might be able to take home that championship. I'm not biased or anything, but Darren Staff is racing like that underdog here tonight. And like he's got a prime position already in the points table right now. P8 coming into this race here tonight as we're seeing a few more cars head down pit road there. But boy, a great finish here tonight. Top 10, top 5, or even the race victory would solidify himself in the chase position there in that 45. He is in that 4th position there in that race right behind Matthew Badby and Keith Fallon that 09. But it looks like Collins is pulling away here, but we'll start seeing these guys head down pit road here in the next few laps, and then we'll have a reshuffle of the deck of cards like a poker table, and then we'll see who comes out on top, right?
Definitely, we heard from Keith saying this is his last race here this evening, so I believe, he can come up for a victory. I know I picked Zach Compton to win, and my dark horse, and Kelly Thomas. But I think I'm going to go out with a limb and Keith Fallon. Speaking of Keith, coming down pit road. Kelly Thomas also right behind him. I think this is definitely a perfect time to come down pit road. Take fuel at least, a little bit of tire, maybe 2 tires on this pit stop. Keep the balance of that car. Definitely the same as when you started the race. You don't want to change the balance and take a risk of hurting your race. Speaking of pit stops, here we go. Leaders. The 54 and the 45 down pit road. Looks like everybody is taking 4 tires so far as we have a new race leader.
As the race leaders are standing out there between Matthew Badby and Nick Alford there. Nick is the admin here at the High Octane Sim Series and is staying out on track here, Mike. This is a bold strategy, just like the average Joe's dodgeball team. He is trying to make that bold strategy pay off for him here tonight at Kentucky, here in the Blue Blood State. Live on 10-4 Broadcasting, bringing you action out of the High Octane Sim Series. And this is the boss. This is the admin of the High Octane Sim Series, who's outside of the top 10 in points. So a victory here tonight would go ahead and lock himself in there. But Mike, that pit stop has to happen here pretty soon if he wants to put himself in that position for a race victory.
Yes, but I also look at it this way. I mean, he can stay out as long as he needs. I mean, right now we're open for pit stops right now in the window, but remember they've got 30 laps until they actually have to pit, so he could definitely stay out a little bit longer, and he might be taking that risk and that gamble. Speaking of risk, I guess he doesn't want to take too much of a risk. As we see 22 come on down pit road.
He has cashed those chips in, Mike, and he is trying to get himself back at the table there, if you will, to use these poker references or gambling references. And taking a look at the action on the track, we're going to see this field go ahead and reshuffle there as James Brosker is now going to be our race leader there in that 3 machine. And boy, this is going to be a shootout towards the end because James is going to come around the track here, still the race leader. And I'm not seeing any of those names we've been calling out all night long up there in that pack just yet. As you see a battle for the lead taking place up here in the 81 machine of Compton. Actually, Compton is going to be about, I think the quarter is about 15 seconds. Yeah, he's going to be way behind James there in that 3 machine. But James is in a prime position there, Mike. He's got about a 15, 16 second lead on that second place car.
about 15-second lead. But Zach is closing in. It's now going to 14. As we see James starting to change his lineup.
Taking that hot side to see how that feels. Going to dip his toes in the water to see if that water is nice and warm. But James Brosker is going to cross the line here with less than 20 laps to go as our race leader here in the High Octane Sim Series live from Kentucky. We're going to take a ride along with him here. These in-car camera views are brought to you by 10-4 Broadcasting here. We'll see if he's going to be able to use some of that Rocky Top magic and put his car into victory lane here at Kentucky. You'll see what his strategy is here on the corners, really letting off there. And he is heading down pit road, Mike.
Definitely leader down pit road. I wonder if Zach's going to be right behind him or is he going to stay out?
Watching Zachary come up into the car camera view here.
Looks like he's staying out.
Right there. Get back on the gas here, Mike. He's going to cross the line here with less than 18 laps to go here in Kentucky as our race leader. And here's your dark horse pick of the night here in that 81.
He was actually my main pick.
Your main pick, there we go. So you might have had some good vibes, some good juju going his way as he is now leading the race here, heading down into 3 to see if he's going to commit to pit road just yet, or is he going to keep that machine out on the track. Looks like he's going to stay out there, Mike. We'll go ahead and take that wide view to see who that second place machine is just yet.
Parker Collins.
Parker Collins has climbed his way back up there in that 54. Mike, we're going to be closing in on the late stages of this race here at Kentucky.
And Parker Collins did come down pit road as he takes the lead. And Zachary not fighting that position. As Zachary is now coming down pit road.
You see Collins has now got about a 3-second lead on second place. And according to the grid here, that second place car is going to be that funky cold Medina machine of David Medina and that number 9. And boy, once these drivers get clamped back up together there in that lead pack, we're going to have quite the race to the finish. But right now, it's still Collins in that 54 leading the way here at Kentucky. See his teammate Darren Staff trying to get up there with him. Pushing Keith Fallen in that 09 up there in that lead pack as well. But boy, they're going to have quite the window to kind of close if they want to make a push at this race victory here with less than 16 laps to go here at Kentucky. It's Collins who's got about a 4-second lead on second place.
And this is definitely a perfect strategy by David. For sure. That number 9. Dropping back, letting the pack come to him and work together and try to catch up to leader here.
You see Keith now overtake that second place position with Darren Staff right behind him in that 45. You might see a little bit of teamwork taking place to go ahead and put Keith in victory lane in his retirement race on the High Octane Sim Series here. He's stepping away because he got an awesome promotion at his real life job. But he wants to do a great job on track here tonight and put that car into victory lane. As you see, that gap is starting to get a little bit wider as the laps are going by there. Mike, it's now up to 4 seconds as Collins is going to cross the line here. Less than 14 laps to go.
I do want to make a little correction. It's definitely not his retirement because he did say that he does run another league on Sunday nights. So I don't want to put that retirement number on over his head just yet. He's still young.
His sabbatical race, if you will. He's taking a break from the High Octane Sim Series, go ahead and make that money. But taking a look at this money winner here on the track. No money on tonight's race just yet, but it is Collins in that 54 leading the way here, Mike. And the boys are starting to run out of laps to close in on the leader.
Coming at 12 laps to go while the leader has a little bit of draft with James Brosker. But Keith side by side with the 40 of Darren's Staff.
Just think of it as like the staff at a football game or staff at the YMCA, but Staff and Fallen are racing one another for that second position. And the more they do get racy, if you will, for lack of a better term, they are letting Collins pull away a little bit more in that lead position, but it's still Collins in that 54 leading the way as we take a look at Medina in that 9, who's now slipped back a little bit to race with Matthew Bradley. And these are our top 5, ladies and gentlemen, because it seems to fall off after Medina and Badby there, because you're seeing Clark in that 31, about 9 seconds off the lead, and then Nick Alford, who was racing for the lead there, Mike, for a couple laps, is now falling all the way down to P7.
Definitely, it's that pit strategy. Everybody taking a different strategy to different track position. And we're coming to 10 laps to go.
This is go time for the drivers, but that gap is getting wider and wider and wider as the laps are going on. It's starting to look like the Grand Canyon here at Kentucky. But I know the viewers don't like this type of racing, but what a race out of that 54, man. He has climbed his way up there with his teammate Darren Staff, and he said, adios, see you later to the rest of the pack, because now he is leading the way, passing some lap cars on the backstretch here, and the more cars he puts in between him in that second place, go ahead and catch that backdraft, if you will, from his lapped cars. It's going to push him a little bit further up the track here, Mike, and you're going to see about 5 seconds now is the gap with about less than 9 laps to go here at Kentucky.
Nine laps to go, coming to backstretch, turn 2. Parker Collins, can he come home with a victory tonight, or will Keith try to spoil that victory in his final race in the high octane Cup Series?
Parker Collins in that 54. Ladies and gentlemen, we love to show you the rest of the cars on the track, but Parker has pulled away from the rest of the cars on the track. We're taking a look at the 31 machine of Clark, who is about 10 seconds behind the rest of the leader there. So, although he is racing a top 10 finish here, he is way behind the pace of Parker Collins, who now is pretty solid and got a 5-second gap between him and Keith Fallon in that second spot. Just see if Keith can close that gap, if we could jump back up to the leaders there as you see Keith in that 09. This is our second place position, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe we could get a wide shot to see how far of a gap that Parker's really put on the rest of the field here, because you'll see, taking a look there at Parker Collins, he's just all by himself. He's sipping on some Puree water up there, having some caviar. He's enjoying himself, relaxing, kicking back. He sees this race victory in his sights as he's going to cross the line with less than 6 laps to go here, Mike. And boy, are you starting to see that window start to shut for the rest of the field?
Not yet. I believe Keith still has something for him. Anything can happen towards the end of this race.
And shout out to Kevin Garnett, because anything is possible. But taking a look at Parker Collins here, it's seeming to be impossible for Keith Fallon to catch up to him, because you're going to look at a 5-second gap with less than 5 laps to go here, ladies and gentlemen, here on the High Octane Sim Series live from Talladega, brought to you by 10-4 Broadcasting. Taking a look at a race leader here, Mike. We'll take a look at this backstretch to see how far, if we could even see where that second place car is. And you'll see the second place machine of Keith Fallon just now passing the camera there. Wide gap to try to close here in these late stages. Taking a look at Parker Collins in that 54. He's going to cross the line. Less than 4 laps to go, Mike.
As we see, Parker right there. And
Parker
a little
in that
bit
54.
right there, just a little bit of half a corner shot.
In relation to Parker in that 54.
Looks like they're about a back stretch away.
Yeah, with less than 3 laps to go, we want everybody to throw your threes up. Rest in peace to Dale Earnhardt, because we are taking a look at Parker Collins in that 54, now leading by about 6 seconds, almost 5 seconds on the track. Racing out of Illinois there. Parker is racing that Toyota Supra, racing around the track here, and Mike, we might be looking at a race winner here, but I don't want to put that commentator's curse on him just yet, as we have a
And you
caution
just
on
did.
the track. Oh, man.
Oh, no. According to my reports, we definitely have to go to a...
Wow. We'll rev up that 10-4 broadcasting replay for you, ladies and gentlemen. And I believe I may have just put the commentator's curse on Parker Collins there. Oh, no. Is that Matthew Badby there? Thinning out in the late stages here, taking a look at our points leader. Got a mishap on the backstretch, Mike.
See if we get another view of this here. Sector 45 again, got tight, scraped the wall, came down.
That is not the way you want to close out these stages of the race here at Kentucky. As you see, Darren Staff just got a little aggressive coming off a 2 there. May have not have seen Matthew in that 89 right there on his inside, but boy, they make contact. It brings out our 5th caution here at Kentucky. You see a few cars come down pit road here, and you're looking at our race leader here. Parker Collins is going to go down pit road. Seemingly probably going to be some fuel action going on there, maybe some tires.
Looks like the
Mike,
top 2 did pit. Everybody else is still out there.
They might have been running a little short on fuel there, and that's the worst thing that could happen to you is you run out of gas in the late stages. You see Keith falling in that 09 and Parker Collins in that 54 now exiting pit road. And Mike, I believe that is only our 3rd on-track caution of the night here. A little late race action here in the High Octane Sim Series. Taking a look at our Parker Collins in that 54, but Nick is now leading the race here with less than 3 laps to go, and I believe we might have a green-white checkered finish when everything sorts back out.
Definitely. I think the mindset behind coming down pit road is hoping everybody would follow. But we saw everybody stay out. I still think 3 laps to go, fresh tires, definitely a better chance of hopefully getting a better finish.
You see if Nick can hold on to that lead at the top there. You see the lights of the pace car are still on, so I'm going to see if we can't get Nick on the radio to see what kind of strategy that was to not follow those leaders in. Hey Nick, it's Mike and Will up here in the 10-4 broadcast with you. Get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey man, we saw the leaders go ahead and head down pit road there. Was it the decision to just stay out there? You don't want to follow them down pit road, or do you just feel like you got the fuel to make it here at the rest of the stage?
I have the fuel. It's tires. I made a strategy call earlier on the race to where I was going to take all 4 after 9 laps of green flag run. And we ended up having another caution, so that didn't really help me. So I got no tires left, is what I'm saying. So
no tires.
Hopefully I can hang them off, hold them off. We'll see how it goes.
Ride those rims to the finish, my man. And we saw you drift down to the kind of, I think, 10th position, the P9. We've seen the field kind of get fanned out here. Kind of take us through what you've thought of the race so far tonight, and what you think is going to be the key to putting that 22 machine in victory lane.
It's been super clean all race. Gotten to a couple doors here and there, and but everybody's kept it really clean, and I really appreciate that out of all of our drivers. For me to get in victory lane, I'm just going to have to hold off the guys behind me. From what I'm seeing, the guys that pitted are shuffled back a little ways, so I think I might be okay.
Yeah, man, you're in a prime position to take home this victory here tonight, and before we let you go, because I think we might go green here pretty soon, who do you think is going to be the teammate that's going to help you? I know you're kind of looking around the field. You got David Medina right behind you, and Clark's who's charged his way up there in the top 3 position. Who are you thinking of working with here, or are you just hoping to get that rocket restart, if you will?
Hopefully Brian Clark gives me a good push on the restart, and we'll see how this goes.
Right on, Nick. And before we let you go, do you want to give a special shout out to anybody that you might have watching here tonight, or any sponsors on your car?
Just to give a shout out to all our drivers. I am the admin here, and we have a killer group of guys here. So just shout out to all of them.
Alrighty, Nick. Well, we'll let you go, and hopefully next time we speak to you, you're in victory lane.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Alrighty. That was Nick Alford, who is our race leader on the track, Mike. And what do you think his chances are of putting that 22 machine in victory lane?
I think it's going to be scary. To be honest with you, this finish is going to be insane. I'm looking forward to it.
Now, Mike, before we see that pace car pull off here, Nick mentioned about his tires, and for people that are unfamiliar with iRacing, what does that do to you in the car? Does that make the steering a little bit more crazy? Does it make the car a little bit more loose? You know what happens in real life. What happens there in the simulator?
Well, as we're getting ready to go back green, definitely this yellow flag definitely cooled those tires off. But going back to green, as we see the 22 get a good jump on that start, those old tires are going to be tighter. With Parker and Keith both pitting, they have a chance of running to the outside line to come up and hopefully get the checkered flag. I'm not going to make any promises or jinx anything.
You see Nick Alford now leading that pack there, and you see Clark in the 31 heading to the inside there, taking a look at the lead.
As we see that live.
Action. And we're back under caution here at Kentucky in the High Octane Sim Series. We saw a couple of cars get loose there on 3 and 4. We'll definitely have to rev up that 10-4 broadcast and replay for you to see exactly what happened there. We couldn't even complete one lap there at the restart, but we'll take a look at what happened. These boys are definitely getting hungry, getting a little heated there in the simulators. We'll see what happened there in this 10-4 broadcast and replay.
Alright, we see here, join the field, 9, Keith gets a good run, 3 and 4, just collects the 42 and a big chain reaction behind.
There's nothing you can really do if the guy in front of you gets loose and taps. Yeah, just hard racing there in the corner, Mike. We've seen it all race long. These cars have gone 3 wide in the corner. Luckily, there hasn't been any incidences, but these late stages here, you'll see that in this iRacing session we have going on here tonight. You'll see a little bit more sketchiness, for a skateboarding term, if you will, in these late stages.
Definitely. I mean, we talked about it, you know, fresh tires versus old tires. Keith and Parker in that 54 both have fresher tires. They started coming to the field. A little bit too aggressive, it looked like in my view, as the 09 came down into the corner. One thing you gotta, be alert all around is when you're taking tires and everybody else is still on old tires, keep in the back of your mind that you're not over aggressive.
You do not want to be like the Hulk on the track here. You do not like me when I'm angry, and you do not like it when things get a little bit too overly aggressive on the track here. We do want to give a special shout out to our producer Tim at 10-4 Broadcasting. He sustained a dog bite over the weekend, and he's recovering. He actually went back to work here soon, but if he's watching here tonight, we do want to give a shout out to Tim. And if you're liking what you're seeing from us here at 10-4 Broadcasting, go give us a like, share, and follow. We broadcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We bring you all this iRacing action. We'll be live again tomorrow night, bringing you action out of the Powerhouse Racing League. That is our new league that we brought on as on our second race of the season with them. And we also broadcast on Wednesday nights, bringing you action out of the National Sim Racing Association. So bringing you all the non-stop iRacing action that you can handle, Mike. And man, we are always in for exciting finishes here in the High Octane Sim Series.
Yes, we're going from a super speedway to a 1.5 miles to a road course. I'm definitely looking forward to next week's road course. I believe I'm working on getting a special guest in the booth as well to join us. Not confirmed just yet, but definitely working on getting that together for next week since we are going to a road course. And the person I'm bringing in, working on, has a little bit of experience on that road course. Not in stock cars, but I believe
there's definitely big things popping here at 10-4 Broadcasting, Mike, and I'm working on a special guest myself, a driver in the Arkham Menard series has talked about wanting to join us here up in the booth here. Just don't want to let the cat out of the bag just yet. Still trying to solidify details and everything. Her schedule is very busy. We were trying to lock her in for a weekend to get her up in the broadcasting booth with us. So big things popping here at 10-4 Broadcasting, Mike, as we see this field still under caution here in the High Octane Sim Series. And these are the late stages of the race here. We're going to have a green-white checkered once we go back racing here. And Mike, man, what a race so far. We've seen everything. We've seen wide open runs. We've seen the field kind of fan out. You've seen pack racing taking place. Now we're in the late stages, and you're starting to see things kind of heat up a little bit more, almost like a sauna at the gym, starting to get a little bit more hot, starting to get a little more sweaty there on the simulator. And Mike, are you going to see even more craziness happening here once we go back green?
Yeah, I think with Keith in the back there with fresh tires, Parker in the back with fresh tires. They're not that far away. You know, Keith and Parker can both run the outside line, no problems, especially those fresher tires compared to the leaders. So this is definitely going to be an interesting finish.
We love interesting here at 10-4 Broadcasting. And Mike, before that pace car pulls off, which line do you prefer as an iRacer yourself on this restart?
I prefer that second line, to be honest with you. I think that's going to be the preferred line. Even with the guys that have fresher tires, you want to get a good start here. Remember, you're looking at 3 laps to go. I believe this is our second restart.
And let's go racing. Let's go green, green, green at Kentucky here in the High Octane Sim Series. As you see, Nick Alford again gets that jump on the restart. He's going to lead that pack down into 1.
And looks like about a 3-car gap. Don't look too soon. Keith and Parker are coming.
See Nick Alford's going to lead this line down into 3. See if any more action takes place here on the corner here. If not, it's going to be Nick Alford going to go ahead and take that white flag. As you see, Parker Collins is sneaking. No, that's Darren Staff in that 54 has come out of nowhere. No, that is Parker Collins in that 54. We're confused because his numbers are backwards, but we are 1 flag. This is the final lap here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the white flag on the track. Nick Alford's leading Parker Collins, who's right on his back bumper here on the backstretch. You see Parker go to take the lead there on the inside, and Parker's going to go door-to-door with Nick Alford. He's going to overtake here on 3. Nick's going to slide way to the outside there. Lost a lot of speed here, but Parker's going to lead the way around 4 here. We're looking at a race winner of Parker Collins in that 54 for Tiny Dog Racing. Man, what a charge out of Parker there on the final lap.
But guess what? Look at 2nd and 3rd.
Oh man, straight out of Compton. The Comptons have finished 2-3 here in tonight's action. But big win out of Parker Collins in that 54 machine. We weren't even keeping an eye out for him on that last lap, Mike.
Definitely did not expect him to come home with that 3rd place. As we see the fireworks in the back there light up. As we see our race leader, Parker Collins.
Oh man, and Parker in his 5th start on tonight, the High Octane Sim Series, he becomes only the 2nd driver on this season to have multiple wins. Gets his 2nd win of the season, and boy, he is putting that pressure on Matthew Badby, who at the top of the table. His boy, I don't think Matthew had a race that he wanted to be proud of here. As you see, Badby is way down, I believe, in 14th position. So Big win for Parker there. We'll see how the points play out here after this race, but big congratulations to Tiny Dog Racing and Parker Collins for taking home tonight's victory.
Speaking of victories, Compton's second and third.
Racing out of Paducah, Kentucky. They wanted to put those cars into victory lane here at their home track, but man, what a race out of those boys here tonight. I know Nick was up there, and Zachary really came out of the back of the pack there and put his car into second position. Comes home P2 here tonight. Man, what a race, Mike! That was quite a few. I'd say 6 laps, if you will, because we had a caution there at that last restart. But man, what a way to finish this thing out. I believe Parker may have charged from about 4 or 5 positions up into that lead to take home this victory. As you see him burning it down here at Kentucky, here in the Blue Blood State. Let's see if we can't get one of our podium finishers in here for an interview here. Looks like Zachary Compton might be available. And Mike, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you. We'll get him in here at the broadcasting booth. It looks like Zachary Compton's going to come home P2 here tonight. Zachary, this is Mike and Will up here in 10-4 broadcast. We need to get a copy.
Oh, guys, how you guys been today?
Pretty good.
Oh, man. So awesome, man. And I'll turn it over to Mike because, Mike, this has been your pick throughout the weeks here. And, man, he came from that backpack to finish P2 here tonight.
My one question is, where were you the whole race?
Well, honestly, I was just trying to save fuel for that last run. And then once Parker passed me, I kind of dipped into the pit road area to get some service. But honestly, I don't know, I was just trying to play a different strategy. I saw Keith won the second stage with the fuel strategies. I was like, well, maybe I can try that. It didn't work out in my favor, but then we got those last few cautions. Here I am at P2, so my brother got P3, so Kentucky boys finished on the podium. So.
Definitely. What did you notice the key of this race? Was it more of tires or was it more of watching the fuel?
For me, it was more so fuel. I didn't really have a tire problem at all most of the race. I mean, you'd keep track on it, but we'd have such a long run. It was just, I don't think it really mattered as much to me at least. But at the end of the day, I mean, obviously the new tires prevailed, as always on a late start, restart. So, I mean, I got nothing to complain about. Podium finish, and here we are.
Are you ready for next week?
But, what's next week? The road course?
Daytona Road Course.
Well, we finished, I think, third in the Rolex, so I know that's a different car, but I mean, so we know what the track's like, though, but I got nothing to. Nah, I think I'm pretty good. I'm ready for it, My brother's more so the road course racer compared to me, but I do have something to say, though. I heard you guys call my car the St. Patrick's Day car. But actually, the green and orange represents kidney cancer and kidney awareness because Nicholas and I lost our father a few years ago to kidney cancer. So we run it out of remembrance for him. So
Oh wow, that's even better than St. Patrick's Day, and I'll
right.
I'll definitely remember that for next week. And Zach, man, you hard charged your way to finish P2 here tonight. And man, we're sorry to hear about your dad passing, but what a way to remember him racing those paint schemes here tonight. And boy, he would be proud to see you brothers go 2-3 here tonight at your home track. And we're looking forward to see what you have at the road course. And you and your brother are really solidifying yourself in the points table here, heading down into the last bits of this season here. And Zach, we appreciate you taking the time. And before we let you go, is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to or any sponsors you might have watching here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to thank you guys first and foremost. I know it's probably not easy jumping into a new, league halfway through a season like you guys have. So you guys have knocked it out of the park. So heads up and congratulations to you guys. I mean, I watched the streams probably twice, during the race and afterwards. James Journey was the foundation for my dad. So just, we like to run that out of remembrance. I got Matheny Electric and Fat Boys Crafts, Ron's Record Service, Matheny Heating and Air, and whoever else on my car, Visual X, JXM, and all those guys, good friends of mine. They let me run their logos on my car, and like I said, just thank to you guys. I mean, without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. So,
Well, I want to say thank you to you guys because you're the ones that put on an amazing show for us.
But you guys have a good Friday night, and I'll see you guys next week.
Sounds good.
We appreciate that, Zach, and have a great night.
All right, thanks, guys.
Now it's Zachary Compton who's going to come home P2 here tonight, Mike. And man, what a race out of the brothers to finish 2-3 at their home track here at Kentucky. And what a way to. Now I know that the paint scheme is in remembrance of their dad. I won't be calling it the St. Patrick's Day machine anymore, Mike. But man, what do you take out of your race winner pick there, racing all the way up to P2 there from the back of the pack?
Definitely surprising there towards the end. I thought they would at least sweep all two stages and the race win. I know he's still in the channel here, or he was still in the channel with us. Um, definitely, definitely a good pick towards the end. These races that we do is amazing. We don't expect these races to be fuel strategy or even tire strategy towards the end. But guess what? These races have been put on for us and for you guys have been nothing but amazing, amazing stuff out of the high octane sim series drivers. And I think the 81's going to be in victory lane here in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, we'll take a look at Robert King, who comes home. I believe he comes home about P13. We'll chat with him real quick before we catch up with our driver in victory lane. And Robert, this is Mike and Will up here in the 10-4 broadcast. We have to get a copy.
We do indeed. How you guys doing?
Good. How about you, man? Coming home P13, just a little bit outside of the top 10 there. Take us through kind of like how that race played out for you.
Honestly, my biggest issue is the car was just too tight. I couldn't get the car to, loosen up at all. Especially towards the end, I pretty much did the same thing that Zach did. I ended up actually having no sets of tires left. I pitted around lap 150, took my last set, and it kind of messed me up.
Yeah, we kind of saw different strategies being played out there between fuel and tires. What do you think was the biggest strategy that played a factor in the late stages of this race?
Definitely tires and fuel. Really, at the end, I ended up pitting in one more time, because of the fact that I was almost out of fuel on that last green and white checker. So, like, if I had not pitted, I would not have had fuel at the end.
For sure. And taking a look at next week, we're heading to the Daytona Road Course. How you feeling your chances are at the road course?
Honestly, I'm not any good at road course racing. I'll admit that right now. So I'm not really looking forward to it too much. But I'll do my best and run a fast car. Hopefully, I ran decent at Dago last week until up till the end, really. So I'm hoping with at least part of the super speedway, at least the super speedway portion of the track, I'll be okay. When it comes down to the couple of corners that really mess with my mind is really where it's gonna mess me up. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. And only your second start here in the High Octane Sim Series, man. You are increasing your positions as you're going on throughout the season. And before we let you go, is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to, or any of your sponsors, or anybody you might have watching here tonight?
Honestly, my main sponsor right now is actually myself. I'm not really gonna shout myself out too much, but I am actually live as well on my Twitch channel. That's gonna be KSA_Fusion King. My sponsor, Rogue Energy, is one of my Twitch sponsors, and then the other sponsor that I'm gonna give a shout out for is the person who actually made my paint. She's a really good friend of mine, and it's gonna be Cheeky Monkey Designs. She's an amazing person, and she does really good work. The paint scheme that you guys saw tonight, that was a brand new scheme after last week's scheme. I kind of just threw that one together right before the race. So I actually sat down with her for the past 2 or 3 nights, and we knocked out the scheme together. So it kind of worked out to the point where I actually got to run a decent scheme tonight.
Awesome. Well, the car looked good on the track, Robert, and we are looking forward to what you have in store for us at the road course next weekend. And we appreciate you taking the time with us here tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And it was great Actually, I listened to the whole thing while I was driving. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I had my other earbuds in. I'm just like, screw it. I'm gonna watch it and listen, see what they're talking about. I heard my name a couple times, so I was kind of proud that I at least being noticed. Even though there was a
Right.
couple of times that I did get noticed, I was in the wall.
Well,
Yeah,
no problem at all. We appreciate you putting on a show for us here tonight, and good luck to you the rest of the way. And hopefully next time we speak to you, you're in victory lane or you're a stage winner.
well, let's hope. Daytona, I know for a fact I'm not gonna do that well, but the week after that, I most likely will do better. I believe we're going to. I actually don't know what we're going to do the week after next. Yeah, I'll do good at Vegas. I know that for a fact. So that's where I'm really waiting to get to is Vegas.
Hey,
So
all it takes is one win to lock yourself into that chase playoffs there. And Robert, we appreciate you taking the time with us, man, and you have a good night.
yep, you as well, guys.
That was Robert King, Mike, and a surprise interview for us here at 10-4 Broadcasting. But he is only racing in his second race here in the High Octane Sim Series and coming home P13 here tonight. He's looking forward, maybe not to the road course, but to Vegas and talking about Vegas and celebrating and popping champagne. We're going to see if we can't catch up with Parker Collins in Victory Lane. Hey, Parker, this is Mike and Will up here in the 10-4 Broadcasting booth. I know you're celebrating, letting that Bud Light, Budweiser flow there in Victory Lane, but man, what a race out of you here tonight.
That was a good one. I thought it was all for nothing there at the end, but we were able to put some 4 fresh year Eagles on there and head up to victory lane.
And to be honest, if I'm speaking for Mike here as well as me, we really weren't keeping an eye out for you there on that last restart. Kind of take us through how that played out and how you were able to charge your. You really ran at the top of that lead pack most of the race, but kind of take us through what led to you just kind of blowing the doors off everybody there on that last restart.
Yeah, it kind of all started there at stage 3. We had a fast car to start there, and I knew that caution came out in the middle of the stage. I knew I was going to play some strategy, so decided to kind of short pit it so we could get a little bit of an advantage over some of the guys who had shown a lot of speed all night and did a pretty good job of that. And then, fortunately, that late caution came out, which I thought kind of ruined the whole race, but decided to come down because it was a toss up at that point. Either you take fresh tires and kind of gamble on having enough time to get back to the front, or you stick with the tires you got and hope that the guys who do take fresh tires don't have enough time to get to the front. So I think hadn't we had that second green white checkered, that we still would have at least gotten a podium finish there at the end. But that caution did come out and kind of set up the perfect opportunity to pass Nick there going into 3.
Yeah, and I think Mike had a question for our race leader here, and Mike, go ahead.
Yes, my question is, when you took tires on that last pit stop, did you think that the whole field was going to come down with you, besides Keith?
I thought a lot more people were gonna come down than did. So when I got back out of pit road, I was second guessing my decision because I saw how many cars I was gonna have to pass. But I knew even with all those cars, I knew the fall off was so huge that I was gonna have such a big advantage that I wasn't too worried about it. I mean, there was that little bit of doubt in the back of my mind, like, of time, but I knew that my tires were way better than theirs, and I was gonna have at least a shot to win.
Yeah, we saw it there, Parker. Like I said, you seemingly race out of nowhere there, and on your way to victory there, Parker, you become only the second driver here in the High Octane Sim Series to have multiple wins on the season. How does that make you feel, knowing you've kind of solidified your spot in the playoffs?
It's good. It's kind of a comforting feeling knowing you're for sure locked in at this point. But yeah, I mean, all we gotta do now is really go out there and race for trophies. Try and secure that regular season championship, get a couple extra points going to the playoffs, and hopefully end off the regular season on a high note.
Talking about high notes, it looks like we're heading to the Daytona road course next weekend and then Vegas. How you feeling about these next 2 weeks?
Vegas, I feel pretty good about. Vegas is definitely one of my stronger tracks. Service. Uh, Road racing is something that I've definitely gotten better at over the years, but I know I'm definitely not the best out there. So it's going to be interesting. I do enjoy the Daytona road course over several of the other road courses that NASCAR tracks usually go to. So it'll be interesting for sure. It's kind of one of those things where if you can keep the nose clean all day and not have too many off tracks, you probably end up with the top 5 or so. So uh, that'll be pretty much the goal. Just try and go out there and salvage whatever points we can get from that, really.
Definitely, Parker. And before we let you go back to celebrating there with your boys in Victory Lane, anybody that you want to give a special shout out to? Any sponsors you had on the card tonight, or anybody you might have had watching there?
Shout out to all the Tiny Dog guys. They gave us a really good shot. We worked pretty hard during the week to make sure we were prepared for tonight, and definitely aware we'd had a few cars in the top 3 there had it not been for that last caution, but we're glad to bring home a win for the boys.
Definitely. And Parker, big congratulations from us here in the 10-4 broadcasting booth. You pick up the victory here at Kentucky, the Blue Blood State. And man, we're looking forward to see what you have in store next week. You and Darren really just held it down here in tonight's race, and we look forward to more of that action next week. And congratulations on the win here tonight.
Thanks, guys.
And that was Parker Collins, our race winner, Mike. And as we just talked about on that restart, do you think it was those fresh tires that really gave him that speed that just charged through that restart?
I think it was. We noticed that there was just caution after caution after caution. I think if there wasn't a caution, I think it would have changed the outcome of the race.
Talking about outcomes of the race here. Give the viewers the last look of these official race results here. Parker Collins, who we just spoke to, is going to come home. Our race winner here becomes the first, or only the second multi-winner here in the High Octane Sim Series. Zachary Compton, who we got a chance to speak to here, he races a car in dedication to his dad, him and his brother Nicholas Compton, who are going to come home 2-3. Nick Alford, you saw him kind of drift back a little bit in that 22, but great job at him charging that 22 machine back up into the top 5. See, Keith Fallen's going to get P5 in his last race for a little bit here in the High Octane Sim Series. I do want to wish him congratulations on that job promotion there. P6 is going to be Funky Cole Medina, Mike, and we saw him kind of drift back as well, but great job of charging that thing back up into the top 10. Brian Clark's going to come home P7. One of those names we saw racing for the lead there towards the late stages of the race. Also, Darren Staff's going to come home P8. He was racing up there with his teammate. I think he may have just gotten shuffled out there on those pit stops. Maybe a little bit of late race action there. You saw him get a little tangled up on the backstretch with Keith Fallen. Kelly Thomas is going to come home P9. Nick Shell is going to come home P10. And I'll pass it over to you to finish off that official results there, Mike.
P11 is Kevin Burlock. P12 is Alan Bledsoe. P13 is Robert King, followed by James Brosker and Matthew Bathby. Finishing 1 lap down, Ray Lewis, 10 laps down, and Riley Hoots. Connection problems ended his day early.
Yeah, ended his day early indeed, but I'm sure we'll see Riley back at that road course at Daytona next week, Mike. And this race really had everything. We saw Matthew Badby pick up that Stage 1 victory. We saw Keith Fallen pick up that Stage 2 victory. And then, of course, our race winner, Parker Collins, going to take home that Stage 3 victory, Mike. And throughout those first couple of stages, it was pretty fanned out. You saw everything get a little stretched out, and now the racing wasn't as exciting as the viewers wish it would be there. But things started to heat up towards the middle stages of this race. You saw the cars get a little bit more dicey, a little bit more racy there at that front pack. And towards stage 3 is when you started to see the heat really turn up here at Kentucky. You saw the Darren Staff get up there in the lead with his teammate Parker Collins. But Mike, like it always does here, left the door open for those green-white checkered finishes, and we almost thought Parker was going to lose this race here, but he was able to charge that car into victory lane.
Yes, the one thing we noticed is that early on these drivers are learning a track, learning the weather. Um, it's more of like a cat and mouse sort of game. Um, Try to figure out where the track's going to move up, how long before you start changing lines. Also, if you come on down pit road, if you take less fuel, it's definitely going to be a balance difference in your car. So definitely good to learn and understand the feel of the car early on, and we've seen Parker come out with the victory at the end.
Taking a look at what we have in store the rest of the way here at the High Octane Sim Series. As we were mentioning, on April 8th, which is just going to be a week from now, we're heading to Daytona for the road course. So that'll be interesting for me as well, because I have yet to see these road courses on the iRacing simulator. So what a treat for me to get to see these new tracks, I guess, in my eyes, at Kentucky and the road course at Daytona. I know it's a little bit wild for the boys in real life at the road course at Daytona, but Mike, it doesn't seem like anybody's too excited about that road course, so it could really open things wide open for the next week.
Definitely looking forward to um, getting to the road course, and who knows, we might have a first time winner. Um, we spoke to all the drivers that yeah, they're excited for it. They're not happy for it, but guess what? It's on the schedule. League admins think it's going to be a great race. Who knows? We might have that mystery winner. You
Might
never know.
have that mystery winner indeed, Mike. And as we mentioned to start this broadcast, all you need is one race victory to put yourself in that chase position, and keep an eye out for that road course at Daytona next week. But again, big congratulations to Parker Collins taking home the victory there for Tiny Dog Racing. He came charging on that last restart to go ahead and put that 54 machine in victory lane. And for all of us here at 10-4 Broadcasting, we do appreciate everybody for tuning in to the broadcast here tonight. We will be back live again tomorrow, bringing you action out of the Powerhouse Racing League. That broadcast is going to be led by Mitchell Adams and Patrick Morrison. Do tune in for that. That's going to start at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. But again, for all of us here at 10-4 Broadcasting, for myself and my co-host Mike, we do appreciate everybody for tuning in here tonight. We do hope that everybody has a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday here at the High Octane Sim Series live on 10-4 Broadcasting.